The following broadcast of the Section 4AA Girls Swim Meet is supported by Bayport's American Legion, The Lumberjack, Joseph's Restaurant, The Mad Camper, and Pictures Over Stillwater.
We're ready to take a swim off the deep end. And several of these swimmers are hoping to splash their way into the state meet. It's the Section 4-2A Girls Swimming Finals, and it's right here on Valley Access Channels Live. Greetings, everyone. I'm Mike Beeden alongside Jill Chow. The last time we were here, we covered the True Team meet. Jill, a little bit different today. Every swimmer here, there are a couple of purposes. Of course, you want to compete for your team, but they are also swimming individually. And how does that work as far as state tournament qualifications go?
You're going to see a little bit of a shift. Of course, the girls want their team to win section. But there is an individual component today that's very different from True Team State. For True Team State, in order to proceed to True Team, you need to have your team place first or get a wild card to go to True Team State. Today, an individual can proceed to the state tournament if she qualifies. In order to do that, you have to place first or second, or we're going to get right to the action, or get that state qualifying time, and we will call those out so that you're aware of what they are.
And our first event is the girls' 200-yard medley relay. The structure is similar to True Team. With the relays, just one heat, 6 teams. White Bear Lake in lane 2, Woodbury in 3, as you can see the field there. Stillwater in 4, Mounds View in 5, Roseville 6, Tartan 7. And as Jill explained, it's the top 2 plus anyone that beats the qualifying time. That is 1:50.22. So if you don't get first or second, but beat that qualifying time, you can make your way into the state meet for this event, and that will be the case for every event we see today.
That's true, and Mike, that is pretty unusual. It's not impossible, but it is pretty unusual. The reason that you're only seeing 6 teams in this championship heat, we have 7 in this section. Unfortunately, the North St. Paul team disqualified in the prelims on Thursday, so they're not going to be participating in this. However, all of the other teams at this meet are going to be in this championship heat. The structure of this is similar to our True Team, where the first meet, or the first heat of every event is going to be a consolation heat. Those are the girls who placed between 9th and 16th on our prelims on Thursday.
We're getting ready for the first leg of the 200-yard medley relay. It's the backstroke, as you can see. Eva Johns will lead things off for Stillwater. The ponies had the fastest prelim time, 1:52.87. You're going to hear a lot of Stillwater over the next couple of hours, given their pedigree in swimming, and we're underway.
Absolutely, and watch for Eva Johns this whole meet. Eva is actually ranked third in the state for backstroke. This ponies relay is ranked second at state. At True Team, they actually got a 1:47.40, so they would, in theory, if they do as well today, qualify just based on that time. However, they are looking like the favorite to win this.
Well, Johns opened up an over 2-second lead with her split, 26.37. Maddie Reed leading the backstroke leg of this relay for the ponies. Mounds View was second.
Mounds View is ranked 16th in the state in this relay. They tied for 16th place with Northfield. The team of Siri, Elena, Alexis, and Ellie Lynch earned a time of 1:53.37 at True Team State.
Reed looks like she's extending the lead, 30.16 her split, and Stillwater leads by over 3 seconds. Elena Schmitzer with the 31.09. It's Lucy Siedschlag now as we are in the butterfly.
And I think we've noted in the past that relay spots can be switched out. These are the only events where a swimmer can be switched out. You must qualify as an individual and you cannot make substitutions. In a relay, however, the coach can choose to change that up for the state meet or even from prelims. This is a different team, for sure, for Stillwater, who swam in prelims than swimming in the finals. And many of these teams are so talented they can do that.
Siedschlag 26.22 in her butterfly. Nora Notjes will bring Stillwater home in the freestyle, so the ponies will easily clinch a spot, 1:46.69. That is a new meet record. And Mounds View will also qualify stable into the state meet. But congratulations to Stillwater.
Absolutely.
146.69. So just like the True Team meet, we start things off with a new record.
That is exciting. It's a great way to start out for the ponies. And they, again, would have qualified with that time as well. So no real surprise. We expected Stillwater and Mounds View to top that, as they are ranked in the top 20 in the state. So well done, girls.
And not surprisingly, Stillwater held the previous record. That was 147.4 in 2015.
Yep, absolutely. And they're going to do a quick cool down. So the structure of this meet today, Mike, you're going to see after each heat, the girls are going to do a quick cool down. Many of them choose to, some do not. Can't blame them for not wanting to get back in the pool right away. Then we're going to see awards after the championship heat. Again, with the relays, we're only going to have one heat. Otherwise, every single event is going to have two heats, starting with the consolation heat and then your medalists in the championship heat.
And what you were telling me as we get ready for the first award ceremony, this meet has a lot of speed. I should say this field has a lot of speed.
It was so much fun. I was really enjoying myself on Thursday. I probably yelled myself hoarse, but this section has gotten so much faster, just even in the 12 months since they last swam this. I was telling Mike earlier that for example, in the 100 fly, 100 free, and 100 back, only 5 of the top swimmers from Thursday night would have actually made the championship heat. Everybody else would have been in the consolation heat because they're so fast. And in the 200 free and the 500 free, only the top 3 swimmers from 2020 would have made it into the championship heat. That's really fast. So every girl swimming today should be extremely proud of herself, because these are fast times, and expect them to get faster today.
I wouldn't be surprised if a few more records fall by the wayside. Stillwater, of course, has a lot of those records, and the ponies outdo themselves. To start things off, here is the award ceremony.
So what you're going to be seeing.
Well, we'll have it in a moment.
Jane is wrangling some swimmers. What you're going to see is it's kind of a quick change out. You get out of the pool, you got to throw on your
warm-ups.
Your warm-ups. Yes.
I was overhearing the officials talking it over with the coaches as we were getting our lunch, and they said the high school league, they prefer to have warm-ups, so they have to put.
It's just a great representation of your team, you know. Otherwise, these suits don't necessarily represent the team. So the girls, and Jane is a mother hen. She's going to wrangle everybody and get them all in their warm-ups. And then what you'll see is the girls will get their ribbons and medals, and you'll see them going up on the blocks. This is really special for the girls. Not only, obviously, winning a medal is wonderful, but last year we couldn't do this ceremony because of COVID. So this is the first time for many of these girls to experience this. And everyone is so excited to be back in this. Should also mention, last year we did not have a state meet. So I think we're getting ready, so I don't want to talk too much over Jane. We didn't have a state meet, so this is even more special for the girls.
Do they all have their medals?
Jane making sure everything is in order before we have the award ceremony. You have to appreciate that. She is the mother hen, as you were saying.
She is the mother hen. In fact, the grandmother hen. We were fortunate enough to host JV conference here last Saturday, which I am so proud of all those swimmers as well. We have such a talented section, Mike, that many of these girls who swam in JV conference, who you're limited to 4 entries per event. So many of the girls who are 5th or 6th fastest on the teams would do very well here, unfortunately.
Here we go.
In 6th place, the team of Madison Steens, Jordan Blank, Ella Fahey, and Lily Hunkel Moran with a time of 2:04.78 from Tartan. In 5th place, the team of Lily Jenkins, Ella Moss, Emma Masso, and Borofka with a time of 2:03.69 from White Bear Lake. In fourth place, the team of Jenna Giles, Paige Bacon, Ari Jenke, and Emma Gronowski with a time of 1:56.04 from Roseville. In third place, the team of Chloe Carlson, Margaret Severson, Sophia Peterson, and Ava Hacker with a time of 1:54.45 from Woodbury. The top two teams will qualify for state, and they are. In second place, the team of Siri Wilkes, Alana Schmitzer, Alexis Easley, and Sarah Wachowski with a time of 1:51.43 from Moundsview. And our 2021 champion in the 200-yard medley relay, the team of Eva Johns, a senior, Maddie Reed, a sophomore, Lucy Siedschlag, a junior, and Nora Nadjas, a sophomore, with a new section record of 1:46.69. Stillwater. Congratulations, these are your medalists in the 200-yard medley relay.
There you
I
go.
imagine the first of many first-place finishes to come for Stillwater. When you look at this field, it's a pretty common sight, actually, to have all four Stillwater swimmers in the championship heat, and that includes this next one in our schedule, the girls' 200-yard freestyle.
In fact, you're right, Mike. In fact, all four Stillwater swimmers made it to the finals except for one event, and that was an 8th grader. So imagine where she's going to be in a couple years with that experience. Pretty amazing. And in fact, that championship relay only had one senior on it, so we've got some young talent coming up. Up next is our first individual event, and as mentioned, this is the consolation heat. Our swimmers who placed between 9th and 16th on Thursday, they did a very good job. We also have whoever placed 17th and 18th on Thursday are considered alternates should any other swimmer need to, due to injury or sickness, drop out. Of course, you don't want that. However, it's nice to be named as an alternate.
And Jill was explaining this to me beforehand, but I want to explain to our audience that unlike True Team, in this heat, nobody can place higher than 9th. So
Correct.
the consolation and championship heats are split.
They're
It's
two
not like
different-
True Team where you can jump the field, as we saw a couple of times.
Exactly,
As you take
they are.
another look at the medley relay times.
Yeah.
That being said, if the qualifying time is 1:55.06, so if anyone from the consolation heat were to beat that time,
which would be a
it
tall
would,
order, but
it
they
would be
certainly
right.
could.
It's possible. When you look at the times, they'd have to do a lot to shave it down, but it is possible for one of these swimmers to make that state meet. But again, they'd have to beat the time of 1:55.06 because they are locked out of the championship
Yep,
heat.
absolutely. But that doesn't mean that this is not an impressive accomplishment and important for the teams. You are scoring points for your team in the consolation heat as well. The top consolation swimmer earns 9 points for her team, and they go all the way down. So ninth place earns 9 points. 10th place gets 7 points. And then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 down to 16th place will earn a point for her team. So this is really important. Your championship heat, of course, the top swimmer will earn 20 points. Second place gets 17 points. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12 down to 11 for 8th place.
So if you're wondering why is there a consolation heat if they can't compete in the championship round, like Jill was saying, there are points to be earned.
Absolutely. Something that's of interest that hopefully does not happen is if someone in the championship heat were to fall ill or get injured before we start swimming tonight, someone from the consolation heat could move up. However, if they've already started the consolation heat, then they will just swim the championship heat with just 7. You can't shuffle them once that event is actually started. And one of the alternates would be able to step in. But it is very important. Like I said, this was a very fast meet on Thursday. So some of the girls, for example, in this event, the difference between 8th place, which is championship heat, and 9th place, which is consolation heat, the difference here in this event was only 0.06. In a 200, that is very, very tight. In fact, our fastest qualifier in the consolation heat, Bryn Mills from Mounds View, she swam in the championship heat last year and did quite well. She's an excellent swimmer. So these girls should be very proud.
From 1 to 8, the lineup: Jenna Giles from Roseville, Gina Song from Mounds View, Estella Serafimov from Woodbury, Bryn Mills of Mounds View, Lucy Jacobson of Woodbury, Olivia Landberg of Mounds View, Charlotte McGuire from Roseville, and Mallory Homzik from Roseville. Again, they are racing for points.
I'm impressed with the name reading. Very well done.
I apologize if I mispronounce them. It's a guess. So 8 lengths, as you can see on our screen, thanks to our decimator. So you will have up to the second split times. Shout out to the decimator for allowing us to provide you this incredible information. And I imagine a lot of coaches and parents who are watching this, and even the swimmers, when they go back and watch it on tape,
Absolutely.
They're all eyeing those split times.
They are, and one of the things that we've talked about in the past is, how do you swim this race? This one is, in my opinion, as a former swimmer, one of the hardest to swim, because you have to be smart and sprint. The 500, you have to be smart and well-paced, but this is a full-on sprint. Don't let it fool you. So these girls are looking to keep, at the bare minimum, they're looking to keep their splits, and a split is where you hit the 50. So every 50, you're going to see a split for each girl. You're going to want to keep them fairly even, and some different strategies are applied here. Some girls like to go out fast and just get settled into a leading spot, but you got to watch out. You don't want to burn out and get out too fast. Some girls will just hang back. Some of our more experienced swimmers, the more experienced you are, the better you are at race strategy, of course, but some of the more experienced swimmers might just kind of pace and then watch them take off in that last 50, 25, depending on how much gas they have left in the tank. But this is a very strategic race.
Jacobson and Mills, they've been neck and neck throughout. Jacobson has held a slight edge, but they are still tight. Again, they are battling for that 9th place spot that awards 9 points to their team. And Mills, with the faster split time there, 32:29, as she's looking to overtake Jacobson. But now Lucy is trying to hold her off.
In the qualifying, almost a full second between Mills and Jacobson. Again, there's a strategy for the qualifying. You want to be careful. If you're somewhere in that 6th place, 7th place, 8th place, you don't want to hold anything back because you want to make sure you get into that championship heat. However,
it's Jacobson who wins, 2:04.02. Mills, her time a little slower than the prelims, so Jacobson will net 9 points for the Woodbury Royals.
Yep, they both swam just a little slower than the prelims, but excellent job by both swimmers. So as I was saying, the more experienced girls might hold back a little bit in the prelims, and you might see them not wearing their knee skins, the racing suits in the prelims. You'll notice everybody today has got on a knee skin. I had a dad comment to me. He said, "I can't believe you said on air that I'm supposed to buy this every 4 or 5 meets. My daughter now thinks that she's entitled to a knee skin every 4 or 5 meets." And I apologize to the parents for letting that secret out. They are not inexpensive. As I bought 3 this year, they usually run anywhere between $270 if you're lucky and $450. There's different knee skins for different strokes as well. If you're a flyer, you may want a different one than a breaststroker, for example.
There's another look at the rundown as the Heat 1 swimmers have a cool-down session. And as we move to the second heat, the championship, this is the one where state tournament slots are on the line.
They absolutely are. You're going to see some fast times. Watch for Stillwater's Sydney Detman. Not only is she seeded well in today, but she's actually ranked #1 in the state. At True Team State, she swam this in 151.6. Eva Johns, interestingly, is not swimming this. However, this is how talented that swimmer is. She's ranked number 11 in state, and she's not even swimming this. Swimmers are restricted to 4 events each, and so you have to be really proactive and strategic as a coach. Where am I going to put each swimmer where she can do her individual best and do the best she can for the team as well?
The 4 Stillwater swimmers, they occupy lanes 1 through 4 in this race, so that'll be easy to spot. Sophia Chow, Rachel Steele, Margaret Reed, and Sydney Detman. The others, Maya Tellez from Woodbury,
Yes.
Elena Schmitzer from Mounds View, Elsa Sorensen-Wagner from Woodbury, and Linnea Brandt from Roseville, the 8th grader. She was the last one in, as you mentioned, in that championship heat. She was the one that edged Bryn Mills by 6/100ths of a second. So Linnea Brandt, it's a big accomplishment for her already as an 8th grader to have a chance to compete in this event.
And keep your eye on Maya Tellez from Woodbury. She's ranked 15th in the state. She got 156.87 at True Team State. So let's see how she does today. Now, full disclosure, Mike, I might be cheering for one swimmer more than the other.
I think she's in lane 1.
She is. So my junior is swimming, so I promise I will not blow out your eardrums by yelling.
I do a fine enough job of myself blowing out my eardrums.
Oh,
You
well.
should have seen me yesterday at Hill Murray Stillwater Girls Hockey.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Once again, the qualifying time is 1:55.06, so it's the top 2 plus anyone that beats 1:55.06. Clean start, we're underway, and watch this submersion time. They have a 15-yard halo before they have to surface, and the top swimmers, they will get every last inch out of that to reduce the stress load. It's Detman with the early lead. She is flying down the pool in this first split. We've completed 2 lengths, and Detman, her split 25.63. She's already opened up a full second advantage over her teammate Margaret Reed.
Absolutely. You're going to see a lot of 28s, 29s in that first 50. Hopefully they'll be able to keep it in the 30 range. You always go out a little bit faster because of adrenaline and excitement, and it's hard to keep that back. Once again, just as a reminder, in 2020, the slowest qualifying for the championship heat was 2:08.33. Today, please notice that the quote slowest, these are speedy ladies, is 2:02.87. That's 6 seconds faster than last year. These girls are in good company.
Detman all by herself in the second half of this race. Margaret Reed behind her. And Reed, she's got a sizable advantage. When we get to the wide shot, I'll be able to see who that third place is. That is Tellez, who's trying to make a charge. Detman pulling away. She has a 3-second advantage, so I think Detman can punch her ticket to the state meet. The battle right now is for second, and Tellez is making a charge against Margaret Reed. Looks like she's overtaking her as we get ready for the final 25.
Margaret is another one of our young swimmers for Stillwater, only a 9th grader, but watch her swim quite a bit this meet. She's in 4 events, and she's very talented.
Detman's going to win this considerably, and Tellez, it looks like she will finish second. She overtakes Reed, so Detman and Tellez will advance to state. Heck of an effort by Margaret Reed, but Maya Tellez had a little more in the back half of that race.
She did. That could be experience. It could just be a better day. You can see some of the girls are improving their times from prelims, and some are dropping just a little bit.
Sydney Detman was 0.3 of a second off the meet record. 1:52.33 was her final time.
She was also very close to her best time this season from True Team State. Just less than a second from that 1:51.60 she swam at True Team State. Of course, when you get to the U of M, that is always a platform that raises the adrenaline and the stakes. So it'll be fun to watch her at state, see how she does.
Detman and Tellez, the 2 qualifiers. You see the rest of the field. And
Great.
Linnea Brandt, I know she beat that other swimmer of yours, but how about Brandt? She was the last one in, and she improves a spot, gets 7th.
She
Not
did.
bad for the 8th grader.
She did. Only 0.8 of a second. This is how tight this is. Only 0.8 of a second separated the 2. Well swum by all of them. But yeah, and Margaret Reed, holding on to, hanging in there with the 15th ranked ranked swimmer in the state. That's impressive. Maya's only in 10th grade. This is going to be a young, talented section for some time.
Reed, a freshman, so those two could be battling out. And Detman is a junior, so she's got another year to perhaps improve on her time. So Margaret Reed, or I should say Sydney Detman of Stillwater, Maya Tellis from Woodbury are the two that will be in the state meet next week at the U of M Aquatic Center.
Yes.
We're just waiting for the award ceremony to begin.
Yes, they've cleared the pool from their cool down, and I imagine Jane is getting all her ducks in a row right now. You know, at the Jane does it all. At the JV conference meet, she had to leave in the middle of the meet. We had to do a pinch announcer who did an amazing job. Allison Foreman did an amazing job filling in because Jane had to go help deliver a grandchild. It's a good reason to miss a meet, I guess. That's actually in their blood. When Mr. Luke, who is the Stillwater coach, of course, Jane had one of their own children in the afternoon, and in the evening he was at a section meet. He was taking care of his other daughters.
Here's the award ceremony.
Time at 2:18.98, Jenna Giles. In 15th place, Jenna's from Roseville. In 15th place from Roseville with a time of 2:17.72, Mallory Homzik. In 14th place from Roseville with a time of 2:17.70, Charlotte McGuire. In 13th place from Mounds View with a time of 2:11 flat, Gina Song. In 12th place from Mounds View with a time of 2:09.17, Olivia Landberg. In 11th place from Woodbury with a time of 2:05.23, Estella Serafimo. In 10th place from Mounds View with a time of 2:04.68, Bryn Mills. And our consolation champion in the 200-yard freestyle, she's from Woodbury with a time of 2:04.02, Lucy Jacobson. Here are your medalists in the 200-yard freestyle. In 8th place, from Stillwater with a time of 2:02.95, Sophia Chow. In 7th place, from Roseville with a time of 2:02.13, Linnea Brandt. In 6th place, from Woodbury with a time of 2:97, Elsa Sorensen Wagner. In 5th place, from Stillwater with a time of 1:59.24, Rachel Steele. In 4th place, from Mounds View with a time of 1:58.84, Elena Schmitzer. In 3rd place, from Stillwater with a time of 1:57.09, Margaret Reed. The top two will represent Section 4AA at the state meet next week, and they are in 2nd place, from Woodbury with a time of 1:56.07, Maya Tays. And our 2021 champion in the 200-yard freestyle, she's a junior from Stillwater with a time of 1:52.33, Sydney Detman. Congratulations, these are your medalists in the 200-yard freestyle. Here are the scores.
And that will take us to the 200-yard individual medley next. Here's a look at the standings through the third event, and you're wondering, why are there 3 events? Well, we had the diving competition earlier this week. Stillwater, as you can see, with the lead over Woodbury. It was Gabby Motter from Woodbury who won the diving competition. 4:52.90 was her score.
She's an exceptional diver and a young one as well. She is ranked 2nd in state for a 6 dive. And in the 11 dive event, she does not have a rank, but she is going to do well. Of course, for these higher level meets, you're going to have an 11 dive, meaning they have to have 11 dives. Some girls only have 6, and that's what JV Conference boasted. They had 6 dives each. Coming up, of course, is the 200 IM. This one, I'm always impressed by these swimmers. You have to be good in all 4 strokes, Mike. This is not an easy one to do. And look at how young this field is. We have, from Woodbury, we have 2 8th graders. We have 1 9th grader from Stillwater. We have 3 10th graders, 2 Stillwaters, and 1 from Mounds View, and 2 11th graders. No seniors in this, in the championship heat, I should say.
Right. First off, we have the consolation heat. In that one, from 1 through 8, it's Grace Campbell from Roseville, Maddie Newhart from Roseville, Sarah Runquist from Woodbury, Audrey Quackenbush from Mounds View, Samantha Wheeler from Mounds View, Paige Bacon from Roseville, Emma Masso from White Bear Lake, and Grace Berry from Mounds View. And again, 9 points to the winner of this. The qualifying time for the 200-yard IM is 2:10.09. That will come into play more likely in the championship heat.
You're going to notice a different order in this individual medley than you saw in the medley relay, of course. It's impossible to start out with anything other than back when you're doing a relay because you need someone to dive in over you. That would be pretty difficult to do as someone's coming to touch the wall. You'd have to dive over them in the backstroke. I'd like to see it. It might be fun, but it'd be fun for the spectators, not for the swimmers. So, which really is my goal almost all the time. I enjoy watching
Being
this.
a former swimmer, right, it's how can we make it more fun for us?
Exactly.
Your daughters might
Yeah.
look at you a little strangely if
Oh, and
You
that's the
suggested
norm
that.
in my house anyway. But, I mean, can we make an X factor in this? Like, for example, could they be dropped into the pool from the ceiling? Is that something we could arrange? I don't know. Maybe that's going to be a different sport coming up. And you heard it here first, Valley Access. I think we should invent this, Mike. What do you think?
You might have to work out some safety precautions because, dropping into a pool, that's a
Okay.
pretty hard surface if you're going at high velocity.
Always the buzzkill with that. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, perhaps it's been suggested that we do a dive. Maybe we did.
Well, these 8 are about to make a dive, a short dive, that is.
We're always getting quiet at the beginning because it's just drilled into your brain as a swimmer. You have to have that quiet for the start. They're starting out with butterfly, which I've mentioned before is my 4th favorite of the 4 strokes, but that's just me. Some of these girls, look at how amazing they are. You'll notice that in this heat, again, this is the consolation heat. Look at how beautiful their stroke is. These girls, they're in the consolation heat, but they are impressive swimmers in my book. You're gonna want to, as a swimmer, try and hold back a little bit unless you are a natural flyer, and some of these girls are. If you are a natural flyer, go for it. If not, you're going to want to conserve a little bit of energy because you still have another 150 to go. You see that butterfly gives way to backstroke here. Watching back in the day, I could tell you how old I am, Mike, but back in the day we didn't do these fancy roll to your stomach and do a flip turn. We had to do the flip turn on our back. And my swimmers and own children are always horrified to learn that they would have to do that. But it was pretty fun. A little water up your nose every now and then, but this is much faster. So the legal flip turn in backstroke is you can flip to your stomach and do 1 arm pull only on your stomach to make that backstroke turn. We're giving way to breaststroke here. And this one is, I think, one of the most complicated strokes to execute. There's 4 parts to it: pull, breathe, kick, and a glide. That glide is really what's going to move you through the water. Look at those beautiful underwaters that the girls are displaying. That underwater pull can get you further down the pool, help conserve some energy as they go.
We've got a 3-way battle for the lead. Samantha Wheeler has held an edge throughout, but in this breaststroke leg, she is getting competition from Quackenbush and Bacon as we move to the freestyle.
The breaststroke is always the one where you start to see a separation. Most of the time, and you're watching the championship heat, most of those girls have similar times in the first two strokes. However, that breaststroke is make it or break it for many swimmers. It is, again, one of the more complicated strokes to execute, and when beautifully done, it's impressive.
Wheeler on her way to a victory in the consolation heat, and she will do so in a time of 2:23.31. Quackenbush finishing second. Quackenbush had the fastest time in the prelims. Wheeler shaved off almost a couple of seconds from her time, so a pair of Mounds View swimmers pace the field, and that will give way to the championship heat once this group finishes their cool down. Here's another look at Wheeler's finish. She led wire to wire, and for the locals, the 4 Stillwater swimmers in this race are Maddie Reed, Nora Notches, Annika Wright, Jayla Peterson. The others, we have 3 Woodburys, including the 2 8th graders, Addison Forshee, Ava Reich, and Malia Johnson. As you look at the leaderboard, Erica Turkington from Mounds View also made the final 8, and again, the qualifying time, 2:10.09.
That is fast. This qualifying heat was very fast. But watch for Addison Forshee. She's an 8th grader that is on the rise. Erica Turkington, also an excellent swimmer, and I'm not just saying that because I taught her to swim all those years ago. But she is an excellent swimmer, very, very well-rounded, which you need, of course, in the IM. Unfortunately, the IM is probably the event that is easiest to disqualify in, because there's so many transitions that need to be done perfectly, as well as so many different rules to each stroke. Butterfly and breaststroke, of course, you have to have your 2-hand touch at the walls. Backstroke, you cannot turn to your stomach except in the flip turn, so you need to finish on your back, which is sometimes hard for backstrokers to remember because they're so used to flipping to their stomach whenever they reach a wall to do that flip turn. So it's complicated, and we're hoping for no disqualifications here. However, I always say disqualification is nothing to be ashamed of. It's a learning experience. It's painful, and you never want it for your swimmers. But never, I feel so bad for that initial relay. It's difficult when you're trying to get into a championship heat, and just one little mistake can cost you a medal.
As Jill noted a few minutes ago, no seniors in this final 8. We've got 2 juniors, 3 sophomores, a freshman, and 2 8th graders. So a lot of youth, but a lot of experience, especially with the Stillwater swimmers.
Absolutely. Maddie Reed, our 10th grader, is ranked 6th in the state. Nora Natchez is ranked 11th in state. And Annika Wright is ranked 13th in state. So Stillwater ponies have 3 in the top 20 in the state. I think that's very impressive, and we're very proud of these girls. Obviously, Jayla Peterson is an up-and-coming 9th grader, doing beautifully, holding her own in this event.
Clean start. We'll begin with the butterfly.
This is going to be tight. Don't watch for anybody to really run away with butterfly. I was looking at their splits from prelims, and they're all pretty close together here. Backstroke, they tend to be pretty close together. It's the breaststroke where you're going to see those breaststrokers are really going to just take advantage and pull away from the field.
But having a good start still matters, and Ava Reich off to a fantastic start, 27.88, so she leads the field as we transition to backstroke.
Annika Wright has a great butterfly. That could be where that's coming from.
And it looks like Nora Notches has taken the lead in this backstroke as they make the turn.
She's having a great meet. She wasn't originally part of that medley relay dream team, but look at her go. They put her in, and she's doing well.
Notches 32.47 as we transition to breaststroke.
You're gonna
Wright
watch.
still in second.
You're gonna watch Nora pull away. She's an amazing breaststroker. Annika Wright, all these girls.
And look at Maddie Reed. Looks like she's looking for the lead now. She came in 3rd, just had an impressive
200 free.
right.
Yeah.
And that in that breaststroke, though, I think she got a lot of that, what you call that swim underneath before you surface.
Yep, underwater
full
pull-out.
Yep.
And there's a real strategy to that, too. The girls are allowed one dolphin kick. That's that thing you classically see with butterfly.
35-28 for Reed in the breaststroke, and now she has a commanding lead into the freestyle.
Wow.
She was third before we got to the breaststroke, but as you were saying, that is the definer, the separator.
It really does. She's an impressive all-around swimmer, commanding in freestyle, commanding in the IM. There's no other way to convince that she has got all 4 of these strokes down and down well, especially as such a young swimmer.
Reed and Nottis will qualify to the state meet, 2:07.50, 2:08.90.
What is our qualifying time?
It's 2:10.09, so Wright missed it by a few tenths of a second.
Just a few tenths. What a swim. Well done, Annika.
And Maddie Reed, I should say, an impressive second half. That pullout in the breaststroke gave her the lead, and she didn't look back.
She's ranked in breaststroke as well for the state. So she's just an amazing all-around swimmer, ranked 6th in state for the IM. But when it comes to breaststroke, she is ranked 3rd in state. So fun to watch, beautiful swims by all the girls.
So a pair of Stillwater ponies have punched their ticket to the U of M Aquatic Center next week. Maddie Reed and Nora Nottis, the 2 sophomores.
Going to be seeing them for years to come. That'll be fun.
And it's a traditional podium sweep. I know our podium goes up to 8, but if it was the standard 1, 2, 3, you had Annika Wright from Stillwater finishing 3rd, again, just a few tenths of a second off. So perhaps a disappointment in that sense. She shaved almost 5 seconds, but she's got to be pleased with herself for
I
a
hope
fast
she
swim.
is. I hope she is.
2:10.84 is nothing to sneeze at.
It is not. And young Jayla as well, 6th place for the ponies.
And now we have the award ceremony. Well, I thought we did. Well, Jane's got to round them up first.
Yes. Oh, look at her go.
I propose, I know you gave us a few ideas. I propose next year we strap a GoPro or something to Jane's head.
Oh,
and
that would be fantastic.
We'll have a Jane cam.
That would be wonderful. That would be great. And her facial expressions too. You do not wonder what Jane is thinking. So when she's annoyed, you know it. But when she's proud, you know it. You've never seen a bigger cheerleader for this team. Jane is constantly in motion. She announces, she puts down the mic, she walks up to the pool, she yells for the girls, she goes and grabs the mic and announces again. She's a real pro. She's been donating her time to this community for the last 40 years. We're very fortunate to have her.
And now I think, false start.
Don't say false starter to me.
Well, it's okay. There's no races going on.
That's true. That's true. That's a terrible feeling to have that false start. Of course, we did see a little bit of that this season. Freestyle is one of the only events where you can be pretty assured. Here we go.
Now we're ready.
Of the 200-yard individual medley. In 16th place, with a time of 2:36.55 from Roseville, Grace Campbell. In 15th place, with a time of 2:35.09 from White Bear Lake, Emma Masso. In 14th place from Mounds View, with a time of 2:33.29, Grace Burry. In 13th place from Roseville, with a time of 2:28.66, Maddie Newhart. In 12th place from Roseville with a time of 2:28.02, Paige Bacon. In 11th place from Woodbury with a time of 2:26.18, Sarah Runquist. In 10th place from Mounds View with a time of 2:25.07, Audrey Quackenbush. And our consolation champion in the 200-yard individual medley with a time of 2:23.31 from Mounds View, Samantha Wheeler. Here are your medalists in the 200-yard individual medley. 7th place from Woodbury with a time of 2:22.12, Malaya Johnson. In 6th place from Moundsview with a time of 2:22.06, Erica Turkington. In 5th place from Stillwater with a time of 2:19.57, Jayla Peterson. In 4th place from Woodbury with a time of 2:16.27, Addison Forshee. In 3rd place from Woodbury with a time of 2:12.65, Ava Wright. The top 2 will represent Section 4AA at the state meet next week in the 200-yard individual medley, and they are in 2nd place from Stillwater with a time of 2:08.90, Nora Najas. And our 2021 Section 4AA champion in the 200-yard individual medley, she's a sophomore from Stillwater with a time of 2:07.50, Maddie Reed. Congratulations, these are your medalists in the 200-yard individual medley. And here are the scores.
And one of the names not mentioned, Annika Wright.
Unfortunately,
We
it
didn't
looks
see
like
it.
we did not see it, but it looks like perhaps there was a disqualification.
I was going to say perhaps she made an illegal turn during
Yeah.
one of the strokes.
Most
We
likely.
didn't see anything to suggest there was, but again, we don't have the same vantage point as the officials do.
We don't. And again, that's a real heartbreaker, especially given how well she did there. Yeah, whenever we were so transfixed on how well they were swimming, we weren't watching the officials. Whenever you see one of the officials raise his arm or her arm into the air, you know, unfortunately, someone's disqualified. It might interest you to know that we have, at a meet of this caliber, you have 4 officials. Most of our dual meets, you're going to have 2, the referee and the starter. At a section or a state meet, you're going to have at least 4 stroke and turn judges at the ends. The 2 officials on the side closest to the bleachers, they watch lanes 6 through 8. And the officials on the far side away from your screen, at the top of your screen, you're going to see they watch 1 through 4. They're responsible for those swimmers at all times.
Now we move to the splash and dash, the 50-yard freestyle. Consolation final first, and in this field is Emma Granovsky of Roseville, Ellie Lynch of Moundsview, Chloe Carlson of Woodbury, Madison Steen from Tartan, Greta Wiskus from Roseville, Sophia Seifert from Roseville, Sophia Peterson from Woodbury, and Lily Jenkins from White Bear Lake.
The splash and dash is right, Mike. You'll notice that the difference between 9th place and 16th in this is less than a second. So these are always tight, they're always fun, and they're a great way to end the first half of the meet. We have a consolation heat and then the championship heat, and then a small break in the action so the girls can warm up for the second half of the meet. You're going to see it that fast in the championship heat again. Notice that the qualifier who got 9th place, Madison Stearns from Tartan, she was only a couple, oh my goodness, look at that, 0.3 of a second.
3/100ths.
Out of 3/100ths, you're right. Math it's Saturday. I shouldn't have to do math on a Saturday.
Well,
No.
unless you're a major in one of those fields.
I am not.
You were not.
I am
I
not.
was a journalism major, but I'm used to it covering sports. You deal with a lot of numbers when
That's
you work
good.
in sports.
Yeah, we didn't do a lot of numbers as a Russian language major. That wasn't
As a Russian-
something that, first of all, is employable, but second of all, not a lot of math in that one. Yeah. So these starts are so important, as you can imagine, when you've only got 24 seconds or 26 seconds in your race. Imagine how that reaction time off the starting blocks is so important.
And get that 105. I'm not sure who that sign is meant for, but I see
don't get that either. She might be holding that up for perhaps the swimmers in the 100 free. And maybe the backside of that is not what she wanted us to see.
Well, Steens will finish in the 9th spot, 26:08. The qualifying time, by the way, is 24:38. So Steens wins the consolation heat, and maybe during the break we can figure out what that sign is about.
I know, we're going to have to investigate that.
Yes.
My best guess is that side is for when she swims 100 free. We'll have to investigate and get that back to you. We're close to the crowd, of course, and I did enjoy when Paige Bacon's name was mentioned earlier. One of the people one of the spectators said, bacon. And
I'm sure she's heard that more than once in her life.
Maybe. Allison Poole also is probably a little tired of the correlation between her name and her sport. We'll see Allison swimming in the 500 later today. Ellie Speedling was a former Stillwater swimmer. She is now an education major. But yes, that was another great name for a swimmer, Speedling. She was captain here of the Stillwater team a few years ago.
And as you can see, the names have been entered into the leaderboard for the championship heat. Sarah Wachowski of Mounds View, Ellie Kill from Stillwater, Ingrid Holm from Roseville, Eva Johns from Stillwater, Lucy Siedschlag from Stillwater, Lucy Borofka from White Bear Lake, Annie Gritters from Stillwater, Ava Hacker from Woodbury.
Yeah, Ava Kill's got a great name for
Ellie
the
Kill,
splash and dash too, doesn't she?
Ellie Kill, I'm sure she has prepared herself for this. And Johns and Siedschlag, they had a great medley relay to start things off. We'll see how they fare in the splash and dash. And as you were saying, Jill, the start, especially here, is so important. If you can get every last inch out of that pullout, that gives you a little more energy to go full throttle.
You're right, and to no surprise, Eva Johns, watch for her. She's ranked number 4 in the state in the 53. Now this is a very competitive event, as you can see. Interesting, in the prelims, she's already actually qualified. She's already reached a state qualifier time. That does not count. They do need to reach that time in the championship heat. However, she was swimming, and she's one of those experienced swimmers I was talking about. She knows how to put in just enough to make that championship heat. Watch her drop time today.
Again, 24:38 is the qualifying time.
She swam, what did she have, a 24:29 on Thursday. Once again in this championship heat. Now, Eva, watch her pull away. You're going to see a little bit more separation than you normally would in a 50. That's just how exceptional Eva is. But, I mean, these 2nd through 8th place, the whole span is just .93.
Clean start. Let's see this pullout. Johns with a fantastic start.
You have to have a very strong streamline underwater. Watch this. See the dolphin kicks as they go. Eva is just a full body length, and she's over 6 feet, so that's pretty impressive ahead of the field.
Johns will punch her way to state 23:55, and Siedschlag will join her 24:79. So Johns, she beat the qualifying time twice. Not that she has to worry about it, because she's going to state by finishing in the top spot. And that's not uncommon. You mentioned John standing at 6 feet. A lot of swimmers, they are lengthy, to put it lightly.
Absolutely. I believe that is the best time for Eva. She swam 23:81 at True Team State. So I'm thinking she's feeling pretty good about that. But yes, unfortunately for my family, height. Oh, the crowd collectively sighed. There is a disqualification in lane 5.
So Siedschlag
She must have had a false start.
I didn't see a premature start, and
it's tough to see lane 5 from our vantage point where our camera
does
is.
Does the turn, is that a thing for freestyle, or is it just the start?
That would be nearly impossible, especially to get second. The only real rules in freestyle is that you need to touch the wall. You can't touch the ground and push off. It's most likely a false start or an early start.
Okay.
That is heartbreaking to lose your spot at state. You heard the crowd collectively sigh. That is heartbreaking for Lucy. Fortunately, we'll see her come back next year, and she will.
And that's
she will
going to
do
move
beautiful.
Ellie Kill into the second spot and into the state meet 25:04. So unfortunate for Siege Log.
It really is.
And Kill gets a break, not in the way she wanted, I imagine,
No.
because that's her teammate who won't get to compete. And
Absolutely,
like you
but-
said, as we get ready for the award ceremony.
Right.
Peterson of Woodbury and Ellie Lynch of Moundsview. In 14th place with a time of 26:54 from Roseville, Sophia Seifert. In 13th place with a time of 26:53 from Roseville, Emma Gramansky. In 12th place from White Bear Lake with a time of 26:25, Lily Jenkins. In 11th place from Roseville with a time of 26:15, Greta Wiskus. In 10th place with a time of 26:11 from Woodbury, Chloe Carlson. And our consolation champion in the 50-yard freestyle with a time of 26:08 from Tartan, Madison Steens. Here are your medalists in the 50-yard freestyle. In 7th place with a time of 26:16 from Woodbury, Ava Hacker. In 6th place with a time of 26:09 from Moundsview, Sarah Wachowski. In 5th place from Stillwater with a time of 25:78, Annie Gritters. In 4th place with a time of 25:45 from White Bear Lake, Lucy Barufka. In 3rd place with a time of 25:27 from Roseville, Ingrid Holm. The top two will represent Section 4AA at the state meet next week in the 50-yard freestyle, and they are in 2nd place with a time of 25:04 from Stillwater, Ellie Kill. And our champion for Section 4AA in the 50-yard freestyle for 2021, she's a senior from Stillwater with a time of 23:55, Eva Johns.
So there you have it. And before we go to break, Jill, in a situation like that, Siege Log has to shrug it off because she's in the next event after our break. But
She does.
what can happen in a freestyle? Do you think maybe she touched ground? I didn't see
No,
anyone leave the
there's
block,
no way.
so
Yeah,
she
there's-
probably left the blocks. We just couldn't detect it with.
We couldn't, from our
our
vantage
vision.
point. The starter and the ref are able to see that and are responsible for watching for any false starts. That's the only way in this particular case she would have disqualified. Freestyle, the only rules are that you have to touch the wall at your turn. There's no way she could have gotten second by missing the wall, just simply flipping in the water. You need that push-off in order to get the momentum you need to finish the last 25. So it must have been a false start, which is understandable. The nerves and the pressure of this meet are big. The stakes are high, as you can see. And so you're right. She has great teammates who will help her shrug that off and get right back into it because she's a flyer and we need her.
They need her indeed, and we have a lot more swimming coming your way with the 100-yard butterfly after this break. Stick around. You're watching the Section 4 2A Girls Swimming Meet on Valley Access Channels.
The program did. Mr. Dennis McDonough.
Two more times. Come on. It's going to collect in some kind of a basin up here.
It is just an unbelievable experience and advantage that we're giving to kids.
Opportunities that our students have to learn and grow on a daily basis through all of our physical education and health courses is second to none. We're very fortunate and we're thankful to be able to take advantage of all the learning opportunities that we get to create and share with our students.
For personal and community health, we hit all the national standards, including the mental health standards. We as a department think it's important to try to eliminate the stigma attached to mental health, and we do a lot of different activities and learning that will help empower students to help themselves and to help other people.
It's really important to teach our students the necessary decision-making skills regarding alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. We also have people come in from a program called Know the Truth. They have graduated from a rehabilitation facility to overcome their substance abuse disorder.
Our sexual health unit focuses on communication and respect, both for ourselves and for others. Students really reflect on their personal values and their viewpoints to make healthy decisions surrounding their sexual health.
In nutrition, our students will learn to develop the knowledge and skills that will be needed to help them to make healthy food and beverage choices throughout their lives.
The primary purpose of the American Red Cross First Aid, CPR, and AED training is to help students recognize and respond appropriately to cardiac, breathing, and first aid emergencies. All students will have the opportunity to be certified if they desire.
The goal of our Fitness for Life class is to encourage students to develop and maintain a health-enhancing level of fitness, along with discovering activities they may want to do and continue to do once they graduate from high school.
Our weight training course is designed to help students develop basic and advanced weight training techniques and to understand those concepts to allow for fitness and health growth and development. Students will take ownership through SMART goals by developing their own SMART goals. It's individualizing and taking ownership of their learning.
Unified PE is a unique opportunity for students with varying abilities, backgrounds to come together. We focus on the physical, intellectual, and social growth of all students in physical education. Special Olympics and our own Ponies Trust Club support this class of fun activities, field trips. They offer collaborations with other unified schools and so much more.
Team sports is a really good class we have here at Stillwater High School. It is designed for anybody that likes to compete, and you don't necessarily have to be a varsity athlete to be in this class. And there's a little bit of something for everybody in team sports.
Our personal fitness and sport class is a great opportunity for students to explore how they can incorporate exercise into their daily practice for a lifetime. We also encourage proper nutrition, hydration, and sleep habits throughout our semester so that they can take these beyond just our classroom. As Phy-Ed and health teachers here at Stillwater High School, we help our students make connections between our courses and their everyday lives now and in the future.
I'm Andy Fields. I'm the principal of Oakland Middle School. So Oakland is on the southern part of the school district. We support students that come to us from Brookview, Afton Lakeland, Anderson Elementary School, and Lake Elmo Elementary School. We have taken a school of 950 students and broken it into smaller, more manageable numbers of students to staff. There is nothing more important in education than the relationship between the teacher and the student. And at this building, I think that that's what's done very well. We have the best teachers. And I see that in the classroom observations that I do on a daily basis. The relationships are authentic, they're sincere, and our students have people that they can talk to during the day, not just about the algebra problems that they're working through, but about things that are happening in their life. And I believe that that happens when the teacher shows an interest and a care in the student. And that's something that I'm really proud of. Many of the teachers that are here have graduated from Stillwater Area High School and have also attended Oakland Junior High when it was the junior high. So one of the reasons why we moved from junior high to middle school is to really focus more on the whole child. that we know that our students that are adolescent need to have experiences that prepare them not just academically, but social, emotionally, and behaviorally. And so our programming here and the experience that we've tailor-fitted to each of our students is intended to grow all parts of the child, not just the academic part that was the main focus in our junior highs. You know, in a changing world, making sure that our students have real-life experiences to work with kids, work with other students that are similar and different to them is super important. And being the magnet site for the medically fragile, medically complex students, and being the epicenter for change and diversity in this school district. And to see these kids do incredible, amazing things with one another makes all of us proud.
Community Ed serves a great purpose in our community and helps keep families connected.
Community education has something for everyone.
I really love watching the kids improve.
You can do it!
Nice job!
Come and see us at Community Ed for a good time for kids and families. Ed serves a great purpose in our community and helps keep families connected.
Community education has something for everyone.
I really love watching the kids improve.
You can do it!
Nice job!
Come and see us at Community Ed for a good time for kids and families.
It smells so bad.
What are you doing? Well, my GPA isn't really the best, so I thought I could try for an athletic scholarship.
Maybe you should go talk to a coach about that.
Good idea. I'll do that.
No.
No. Yeah, that's not going to work.
I love the effort, Tori, but you should probably go see the College and Career Center.
So sports scholarships really aren't looking too hot for me. What are my other options?
It's a good thing you got other options. So there are scholarships that are merit-based, and that's going to depend on your academics. So ACT score, transcript, you're going to want to check into your college just to see what those merit-based scholarships are and that you qualify for those. And then there's also community scholarship. It's just for Stillwater seniors. And they have offered over 90 scholarships given to Stillwater students. They give over $400,000. And the process to apply is you fill out an application. You have to have 2 letters of recommendation, one from a teacher and one from a community member. You also have to write a personal statement. And then you want to make sure you look at the criteria of each scholarship to make sure you qualify for that. Scholarships will open up in October and they are due in February.
Okay, so where do I get started?
What you want to do is check out the high school website and all the instructions are there.
I'm Mike Peden. She is Latoya Cherky.
Alongside Don Ackerman, my name is Ted LaRue. Join Mike Peden and Ted LaRue all season long for Stillwater Pony High School sports live on VAC TV. Catch all the action on Xfinity Channel 15 locally and streaming online around the world at vactv.org as well as Facebook and YouTube. Centering pass scores!
I'm Rob Bach, and I'm the principal here at Stillwater Area High School. We're located just south of Highway 36, almost at the intersection of Highway 5 and Highway 36. We are actually part of the oldest school district in the state of Minnesota. So we have a long-standing tradition of academic excellence dating back way before a lot of other schools and districts. We're at right around 2,800 students. We're a 9 through 12 high school, so we average almost right on the dot at just about 700 kids per graduating class. Our academics are off the charts. I literally just gave a tour to executives from Andersen Windows who wanted to come in and see our fabrication lab. And our students took executives from Andersen Windows and showed them the different pieces of technology that we have, the different machines that they use on a daily basis, took them through their design process. Stillwater Area High School's music programs, whether it's choir, whether it's band, whether it's orchestra, are the cream of the crop. And literally kids from other schools want to come hear what our kids are doing to get a sense of what they can be, and other directors want to come see what we're doing to get a sense of what they can aspire to. We are training tomorrow's leaders. That's who we have in schools, and that's a charge that we take pretty seriously. We are about developing communicators. We want kids to be critical thinkers. We want them to be able to collaborate with each other, self-advocate. That really is the portrait of a graduate that we are working on developing here at Stillwater Area High School. Kids have to have skills that transcend certain job skills. We're intentional about developing those other pieces, and those are the kinds of kids that are going to wind up being leaders in tomorrow's society.
It's pretty cool.
Mr. Dennis McDonough.
Two more times. Come on. It's gonna collect in some kind of a basin up here.
It is just an unbelievable experience and advantage that we're giving to kids.
Opportunities that our students have to learn and grow on a daily basis through all of our physical education and health courses is second to none. We're very fortunate and we're thankful to be able to take advantage of all the learning opportunities that we get to create and share with our students.
For personal and community health, we hit all the national standards, including the mental health standards. We as a department think it's important to try to eliminate the stigma attached to mental health, and we do a lot of different activities and learning that will help empower students to help themselves and to help other people.
It's really important to teach our students the necessary decision-making skills regarding alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. We also have people come in from a program called Know the Truth. They have graduated from a rehabilitation facility to overcome their substance.
We rejoin you at Stillwater Middle School. The 100-yard butterfly is up next in the Section 4 2A swim meet. And before this broadcast, there was a lot of pomp and circumstance surrounding you, Jill. I heard today is a notable day in your lifetime, in your history.
It absolutely is. Two of my daughters are swimming. Is that what you... Oh, no, perhaps
well,
we should...
that is a momentous occasion, too.
Well, yeah, I do feel like I need to maybe explain that because I kind of forgot to take off my birthday crown before the broadcast. So for those of you who saw that, I apologize. Some of my co-parents up here gave me a birthday crown. It is my birthday, and I can't think of a better place to spend it than watching these swimmers do their best.
That wasn't
and
the
hanging
only-
out with
yeah.
the dude.
Hanging out with the dude, that's right. I am the dude.
Yes.
Mike Peden alongside Jill Chow. And the crown wasn't the only thing she received today. There's a flower bouquet. There's some other gifts that the parents have showered you with.
I did get a little spoiled today. I even got a pair of socks telling me that I am a champion, so I feel pretty good about that. Wouldn't want to wear it in this heat, though. This pool is.
And once more, here's the diving results. Gabby Motter winning for Woodbury, 452.90. Again, that event taking place earlier this week, and that will be factored into our standings. And
just last night.
Yes, Motter, the only swimmer to go over 400. Maya Kelly, the top finisher for Stillwater, 364.25.
Yes, and a young swimmer. She's a 9th grader. I'd like to highlight our second place diver here, Dara Ostrom. She's actually swimming in the meet as well today, so she's one of the rare diver-swimmer duos. That's pretty tough to do, so hats off to her.
She might be open to that suggestion of yours where you dive
right.
and then swim.
She might be our best advocate for the extreme swim games. I like it. And I think they should have to do the diving boards as you see them on your screen right now. They're propped up so that the swimmers can be seen. The blocks are taken off and removed, obviously, when the divers are on them. But I like the angle. The 45-degree angle, I think, would be a lot of fun.
So this is the consolation heat of the 100-yard butterfly. If you're joining us late, Dara Ostrom is actually competing in this very heat.
There you go.
In lane 6, Alexis Easley had the top time. She's in lane 4. Brooke Bacon of Roseville, Ari Jenke of Roseville, Ifan Zai of Woodbury, Alexis Easley from Mounds View, Haley Schmidt from Stillwater, the lone 8th grader in this field, Dara Ostrom from Mounds View, Emma Masso from White Bear Lake, and Abby Halida from Roseville. So Ostrom has already punched her ticket to state. Can't do it in this event, but she will be competing next week at the U of M Aquatic Center. The qualifying time is 58:35.
Yes, and once again, this consolation heat, they can earn points for their team. That top consolation heat winner will earn 9 points for her team, so plenty at stake here. We want to point out, too, unfortunately, we've had this is pretty unusual, especially for a meet at this level. We've had 2 disqualifications so far this meet, and hopefully that's the end of it. Let's just say right now that's the end of the disqualifications. You'll notice that when those happen, and both of them rather remarkably in the championship heats, that once again then medals are only given to places 1 through 7. No one from the consolation heat is eligible to bump up in that championship heat.
And we had some discussions about True Team. We should point out that Stillwater finished 3rd in that state True Team meet a few weeks ago.
I am so glad you brought that up because that was the thrill of a lifetime. I've said that this is often the girls' favorite meet because it really is a measure of how well the team does together. And they did. They got 3rd place. They beat Edina by over 200 points. You may remember the last time True Team State was held was 2 years ago. Unfortunately, the girls didn't get the opportunity during the pandemic last year. So the last time that meet was held, Edina beat Stillwater by half a point out of 2,000 possible. It was a heartbreaker.
I believe Minnetonka won that
They did.
meet.
They did.
They've got some athletes over there, too.
They have a couple of pools. They know what they're doing over there. Wayzata is also pretty good. What's interesting, and one of the real, I've pointed this out before, the real difference between True Team sections and True Team State is who ends up at the top at the state meet, because 2 years ago, again, we did not have a state meet last year, so 2 years ago, Edina got 3rd place just by the skin of their teeth, but they won state meet. So if you have a few really, really fast swimmers who get 1st place, you're going to win the state meet tournament. However, in True Team, you really need to have a deep bench to do well. So that just goes to show why the girls love True Team, but they love this, of course, too. It's an opportunity to shine as an individual and as a team.
Final length of the pool, and Alexis Easley from Mounds View is a body length ahead.
Haley Schmidt is hanging in there, the 8th grader from Stillwater.
And Zaid giving it her all as well in lane 3.
This is a tricky one because it all comes down to timing. You see how they have to have their arms recover over. They have to do a full stroke.
And Easley won it. Now Schmidt, they did not have a split time, so I'm guessing in that first split, she didn't touch the sensor hard enough to register.
And that's very possible. I don't hear a call for watch time, but that is something that you might see. But Haley did a great job there, finishing second. Again, watch their arms. They have to recover over the water. You can't do a half a stroke. That could be a disqualification, meaning you can do a half a stroke over the water, but you can't start a pull underwater and then change your mind and then push your hands forward. You have to bring it up over. So timing is everything. If you don't think you can do a full stroke, you have to make a split-second decision. Do I glide in, or do I do another stroke and hit the wall funny? Swimming is a very, very intellectual sport, and I know it's not exclusive to that. I'm, of course, more biased in this direction. But we recently had senior night for the Stillwater Ponies, and we were graduating 17 seniors from Stillwater, amazing young women. This is a meet that is emotional for all of us senior parents. Wait, let me say that better. Parents of seniors, I think that's more flattering, especially given it's my birthday. But almost every single one of those girls has a very high GPA. We had the vast majority of them were at least 3.75, many 4.2s. So this is a disciplined sport.
And the lane assignments for this championship heat: Nora Kelly in lane 1 from Woodbury, and down the line it's Siri Wilkes from Mounds View, Margaret Reed from Stillwater, Lucy Siegelschlag will try to redeem herself. She's in lane 4. Ava Reich from Woodbury, Sophia Peterson from Woodbury, Lucy Paxosa, the 7th grader, in lane 7. Erica Turkington from Mounds View. So Paxosa with an opportunity to make it to the state meet. I'm sure she would love that. I don't think she would complain if that doesn't happen, but
no, I don't
we talk
think so.
about the youth. Paxosa, I think the embodiment of it. You've got a 7th grader
Lucy,
in the final
Lucy Pazzosa
is. I knew I was like.
No, I got pulled aside for that one, so I wanted to make sure I got it in. We love you, Lucy.
Pazzosa,
she is
yes.
the only 7th grader competing today. There were a couple other from other teams who were able to be in the prelims. Unfortunately, they didn't advance, but Lucy has much to be proud of. She is the only 7th grader in this meet today, and that is exceptional. She is definitely one to watch. And Jane didn't get it right either, but
Pazzosa. Well, this I know
first.
One thing she gets right is making the rest of us feel really old.
Oh my goodness, yes. I don't want to discuss that, especially today. No,
yeah. With your birthday, you age backwards, right?
I do. I started counting backwards, and I hope that's all right with everybody. Again, Russian major, I'm not expected to know math. Another interesting thing about this championship heat is that in prelims there was a tie here. And so what happens in prelims, if two swimmers tie, that is they get the exact same time. We're going to quiet down for the start here. Looks like good starts. Let's hope. If there is a tie, then obviously they take the tie for, I want to say it was 3rd place. I can look that up for you. And then only 8 advance. Somebody asked me the question, what happens if there's a tie for 8th place? And in that case, this is kind of fun. There's a swim off. Because, again, they're seeding those championship versus consolation heats. Look at them go. Who's in the lead here?
Siegelschlag, well, she's off to the races. 27.82 in her first split, second half of this race.
She's looking strong. I hope she can hold that lead.
58.35 the qualifying time. Siegelschlag holding on to the lead. Remember, it's top 2 plus anyone who gets under 58.35. She's got a challenge from Ava Reich. Siegelschlag up by half a body length. Reich wants to get her ticket into state as well. Here they come. Siegelschlag will win it 58.97. Reich 59.12.
That feels awesome. That's wonderful. She is going to state after a little bit of a disappointment before the break. We're seeing her go to state, and that feels great.
And we'll wait for any announcements, but it doesn't sound like you and I, at least from our vantage point, didn't see anything to suggest that we'll have any disqualifications. But Siegelschlag, I'll tell you what, Ava Reich, another 50. She might have overtaken Siegelschlag. She had a great second half.
And I know a lot of these girls are grateful that the 200 butterfly is not an option in high school. However, you're right. She's obviously got some significant endurance there, Ava. Well done to the Woodbury swimmer.
They're the only 2 to get under a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, and this is again a very tough event. Sydney Detman, again, you've heard her name a lot. She's actually ranked 13th in the state in this event. She swam a 58:38. She's not swimming this event today, again, because she's so versatile. She can swim and just about pop her in the pool and she's going to win, but that's how talented she is.
And Pizzosa finishing 7th in her first section race, and I have a feeling the best is yet to come for that 7th grader.
Absolutely. We're going to see a lot of her.
No DQs here, so Siege Schlag will compete. Of course, she already had one with the relay to start things off.
That's
in the
true.
IM.
That's true.
Or the medley relay.
She did.
I got that mixed up.
It's been a long day already, but we did learn that it was an unfortunate flinch on her start in that 50 free. So that is heartbreaking, but I'm so glad that she's qualified not only as a relay, but as an individual. That's got to feel good, and she should feel very proud for all of her swims today.
Not only that, she'll do so as the section champion. Here's the award ceremony.
Roseville with a time of 1:14.52, Brooke Bacon. In 15th place from Roseville with a time of 1:11.65, Abby Halliday. In 14th place from White Bear Lake with a time of 1:08.73, Emma Meso. In 13th place from Roseville with a time of 1:07.84, Ari Jenke. In 12th place from Mounds View with a time of 1:04.83, Dara Ostrom. In 11th place from Woodbury with a time of 1:04.22, Ethan Zai. In 10th place with a time of 1:04.11 from Stillwater, Haley Schmidt. And our consolation champion with a time of 1:03.23 from Mounds View, Alexis Easley. Here are your medalists in the 100-yard butterfly. From Mounds View with a time of 1:03.27, Erica Turkington. In 7th place from Stillwater with a time of 1:02.61, Lucy Bazak Souza. In 6th place from Woodbury with a time of 1:01.93, Nora Kelly. In 5th place from Mounds View with a time of 1:01.16, Siri Wilkes. In 4th place from Woodbury with a time of 1:01.14, Sophia Peterson. In 3rd place from Stillwater with a time of 1:01.03, Margaret Reed. Our top 2 medalists will represent us at Section 4AA in the 100-yard butterfly at state next week, and they are in 2nd place from Woodbury with a time of 59:12, Ava Wright. And our 2021 champion in the 100-yard butterfly, she's a junior from Stillwater with a time of 58:97, Lucy Siegschlag.
And that will take us to the 100-yard freestyle in the Section 4 2A swimming finals. Here's a look at the team standings now. Jill, we see Stillwater in the lead.
Yep.
Is there a significance? I know the swimmers are racing individually, but does the section champion, does that give them any benefits going into the state meet?
Not particularly. Bragging rights are important. Stillwater has been fortunate enough to be section champions for quite some time. And now, of course, we've every 2 years they rotate who is in your section. Woodbury is new to our section, very talented team. You're seeing a little bit more of a distribution of points. They were not in our section in years past. So normally, as you saw in True Team sections, Woodbury and Mounds View were kind of duking it out for that second place. The last year, it was Stillwater won sections by 200-300 points at the end of the meet. So it'll be interesting to see how Woodbury affects the point distribution. And we're fortunate to have so many talented swimmers. They're fun to watch, especially behind the blocks. Again, this is a more individual feel in this meet. Feels a little more individual. I was watching in prelims how the girls are always friendly to others on other teams, but there was a camaraderie between the teams during prelims that was really fun to watch. I saw Siri Wilkes, who is one of the top Mounds View swimmers. She's fun to watch. Enjoying a belly laugh with a Stillwater swimmer, and they just enjoy each other, and they asked each other, are you nervous? And yeah, so it's nice to have that. You can only share that with another swimmer. Another impressive swimmer, that Marin Durand, she again last year was in the championship heat for many things. She's one to watch. She's our top seed, I believe, in this consolation heat. She's definitely an impressive swimmer.
She'll be in lane 4. Peyton Getzlaff of Woodbury, Sophia Seifert of Roseville, Ellie Lynch from Mounds View, Marin Durand of Mounds View, Greta Wiskus from Roseville, Sarah Wachowski from Mounds View, Emma Granovsky from Roseville, and Estella Serafima from Woodbury. Those are the lane assignments from 1 to 8 in the consolation bracket. We'll see another Stillwater quartet in the final. The qualifying time is 53:25, if you're curious. And it's also one of the few events where the record is not held by a Stillwater athlete.
Very few. Piper Dew was an exceptional Roseville swimmer. I believe she's at the U of M. This is another splash and dash. Takes a little bit more endurance than the 50, but you're going to notice how tight this race is, because again, it's just full out sprint. You have to be smart. Notice that there's very little breathing in this event, where you watch in the 500, they'll breathe more frequently, but watch especially the Stillwater swimmers. I know them best. I'm just highlighting that, where you're going to see very little breathing. Look at that. No Stillwater in here, but look at, they breathe very infrequently, because of course that's going to slow you down.
Durand leading, 27:11 was her split time, and she has a 0.4 of a second lead over Ellie Lynch. Again, there are points here, as Jill said, mostly for bragging rights as far as the section standings are concerned, but these swimmers too, maybe they're going for a personal best. They'd like to shave a few seconds, so there's an individual component to all of this. You want to score well for your team, but you're also racing against yourself, as Durand is going to coast, or I should say sprint, to a first place finish. 56:47 is her time.
So again, she dropped 0.3 of a second, which is no easy feat in 100. See some smiles as they finish.
And that will take us to the final. The 4 Stillwater swimmers are Annie Gritters in lane 2, Ellie Kill in lane 3, Rhiannon Fay, the freshman, in lane 5, and Abby Hansen in lane 6. It's one of the rare occurrences where the top seed is not held by a Stillwater swimmer. Elena Schmitzer had the fastest preliminary time, 55:05. She'll be in 4.
She is a wonderful swimmer, lots of talent. We've already seen her a couple of times today. Elena is actually ranked 11th in the state with, she did 55.05 at True Team.
And her prelim time was 55:05.
Yeah, well, she's very consistent. That's great. Interesting note, once again, I know you may tire of me hearing the name Eva Johns, but she is ranked 10th in the state. She is not, however, swimming it today. She swims it in the 53.47.
What goes into that decision process when you have someone like Eva who's versatile?
Oh my gosh.
What events, how do you work out that selection process when you could put her into any event and she would give you a fighting chance?
You could. Both of the Reed girls, there's a pair of sisters, Margaret and Maddie, could also swim just about anything. Again, that goes back to you have to be strategic. What event is she likely to do best at state? You're looking at her times and saying, okay, she's going to win sections, but at state, is she only going to get 12th? And by only, I'm saying that with air quotes because that is phenomenal. However, I don't.
That's a lot faster than I could run. If I might be lucky and break the top 100. That would be my goal.
I would, assuming there's more than 99 swimmers. I'm hoping that, but. Yeah, it's a tough one and not one that I envy for the coaches. I mean, it's a great problem to have if you have that impressive an athlete. But yeah, when you're good enough that you're ranked in the state and you're still not swimming it, that's impressive. So you have to choose where is the individual going to get the most points for herself and for the team as well.
The other swimmers, by the way, Lucy Borofka in 1, Ingrid Holm in 7, and Ava Hacker in 8. White Bear Lake, Roseville, and Woodbury, as you can see on the screen. I love that decimator. Gives you all the breakdowns you need, and it's also great for the folks at home who maybe can't make it or they're out of town, so they can keep tabs on their favorite swimmer.
That state qualifying time in this race is 53.25.
We're underway in the 100-yard freestyle. And you see how neck and neck it is on the start. Similar pullouts. This first 50 will be crucial, and I still don't know who's in front. It
and
looks
I don't
like
think there's not going to be a lot of separation. This
by
is
an inch right now, but look at this, side by side.
Yeah. And you're not going to see a huge pullout.
Look at that.
Without Eva in the field.
800ths of a second, first through third. Kill with the fastest time, 26.21, but it's still a three-way race.
Yes, and it's about to get loud in here. It's a three-way race, 2 Stillwater swimmers and a Mounds View swimmer. Again, that Schmitzer is fighting for her spot. It's about to get very loud. This is going to come down to timing and the push at the end.
Kill with the slide edge.
We're not
Schmitzer
going to even
looking to
predict
keep pace.
it. It looks like
Kill will get there, 28.19.
Abby Hansen came out of nowhere. She got third.
And Schmitzer, 54.75. Kill, 54.40.
6/100 separating third and fourth.
So Kill and Schmitzer will advance. It was Kill who had the third fastest seed time, and she worked wonders. Now
she is now heading to state with 2 events.
We have to cool down. I heard the whistles, and you and I, after a couple DQs, were like, all right, let's make sure.
Yes, and in fact, Ellie will be representing Stillwater at as an individual for sure at state in the 50 free.
And she just punched a ticket in the 100 meters. This time, not through disqualification, not through default. She got there and earned it.
Earned it and solidly. Well done on that.
And Schmitzer will join her, 54.75. But Ellie Kill, that's a pretty impressive feat in its own. Third fastest preliminary time, and she got a 54.40 to win and punch her ticket to the U of M Aquatic Center. So Kill is going to have a busy program next week.
What a wonderful accomplishment for this senior. She's a wonderful leader on the team, and she's a great kid, and she's considering swimming in college. So perhaps we won't hear the end of Ellie with this state meet.
And maybe a college scout will look at this tape and go, hey, this Ellie.
Yeah,
where did
great
she come
name,
from?
Great swimmer.
Next up, of course, is the distance event, the longest of them all, the 500-yard freestyle. So, Jill, I hope you've got a few more stories at the helm because we might need them.
We might, although this is going to be significantly faster. You'll notice, again, we were talking about this at the top of the broadcast, where only last year in 2020, only 3 of the top 8 swimmers would advance with those times into the championship heat because it has gotten so fast.
Now it's time for the medal ceremony.
In 16th place with a time of 58.45 from Mounds View, Sarah Wachowski. In 15th place with a time of 58.44 from Roseville, Sophia Seifert. In 14th place with a time of 58:42 from Roseville, Emma Gravenski. In 13th place with a time of 58:41 from Roseville, Greta Wiskus. In 12th place from Woodbury with a time of 58:30, Peyton Getzloff. In 11th place from Woodbury with a time of 58:08, Estella Serafimov. In 11th place from Mounds View with a time of 57:22, Ellie Lynch. And our consolation champion in the 100-yard freestyle with a time of 56:47 from Mounds View, Marin Durand. Here are your medalists in the 100-yard freestyle. In 8th place with a time of 56:76 from Stillwater, Annie Gritters. In 7th place with a time of 56:64 from Roseville, Ingrid Holm. In 6th place with a time of 56:51 from Woodbury, Ava Hecker. In 5th place with a time of 55:97 from White Bear Lake, Lucy Barufka. In 4th place with a time of 55:11 from Stillwater, Rhiannon Fay. In 3rd place with a time of 55:05 from Stillwater, Abby Hansen. Top 2 medalists will represent Section 4AA in the 100-yard freestyle at the state next week, and they are in 2nd place with a time of 54:75 from Mounds View, Alana Schmitzer. And our 2021 Section 4AA champion in the 100-yard freestyle, she's a senior from Stillwater with a time of 54:40, Ellie Kiel.
Now the marathon begins. The 500-yard freestyle.
We'll have 2 heats of this. The first, of course, the consolation heat. Many of these ladies last year would have made it into the championship heat with these exemplary times. I do remember Mounds View's Bryn Mills was in the champ heat last year. A very impressive time of 5:35. The fastest seed in this consolation heat is Linnea Brandt, who, as I recall, was in the 200 free, did quite well there, 7th place, I believe. She's the fastest seed here with 5:32.09.
And you talked about how Woodbury could affect the point distribution. The final features 4 Woodbury swimmers and 4 Stillwater swimmers.
There you go. That's going to be interesting to see how that
Everyone else.
They might start to pull away from Mounds View a little bit.
Ninth, yes.
Although, you know, never count out Mounds View, because we thought Woodbury was for sure going to get second at True Team sections, and Mounds View pulled it out in the end. Both teams were able to go to True Team state with wild card, which was great to see them. We're always very proud of our entire section, because at True Team state, I believe 3 out of the top 8, if not better, represented our section. So Woodbury, Mounds View, and Stillwater all did very well. So we're in good company when we're competing over here on the east side.
The lane assignments for this first heat: Elizabeth Akala from Tartan in 1. Down the line, it's Daisy Bai from Mounds View, Samantha Wheeler from Mounds View, Linnea Brandt from Roseville, one of the 2 8th graders, Bryn Mills from Mounds View, Gina Song from Mounds View, Gabby Fleming, the other 8th grader from Tartan, and Gabby Perrin from White Bear Lake.
You hear a lot of screaming for Gabbies on this end of the pool. This is, we've talked about many swimmers when they look at the assignment for the meets throughout the season and they see 500 up there. There's sometimes some uh-ohs and some tears at home, because this is a grueling event. It's tough to do. And so to see so many young swimmers, those 8th and 9th graders in this event, that's impressive.
Maybe they don't know any better yet.
They don't.
We can handle it.
Plus, they have all that energy.
So they get ready.
You're going to see counters at the other end of the pool, which is always a fun thing. Often the swimmers are kind of fighting over for the privilege of doing that. Notice they all have the counter cards here. That's huge because it is so difficult to keep track of where you are. Not only are you trying to swim your best, but you're having to count to 20. And that sounds simple, but I promise you it is not.
It's simple when you don't have to swim with 7 other competitors. It's a little different when you are
nervous
and you're also trying to get that hydrodynamic balance.
Nicely done. Look at your swim vocabulary expanding as we go. I feel like I've been a good influence on you, Mike.
I have to imagine without counters, these girls and the ones with seed, they would just keep going if they didn't. They would go up to 30 and be like.
You know, and some of these newer swimmers, the worst thing, you know, the 200 is a sprint, but you also have to kind of keep track a little bit. And I remember a few years ago, we had a newer swimmer who was so excited because she thought she got first. Well, if there was an event called the 150, she did. In this case, however, she had another 50 to go, so she had to quick turn around and keep going. So it's always a learning experience and not something you want to see, but we all got a good chuckle out of it, and then she went on to do quite well after that.
And you told me in the True Team, the swimmers they're battling for that privilege to be the counter. The one thing you don't want to do is drop that card into the pool. Fortunately, they're on the shallow end, so they can scoop it up. But
yes,
nobody wants to be the one.
That's right, and that was not the case at the U of M True Team State. Somebody, and I just want to point this out, point of pride, it was not a Stillwater swimmer, who dropped the card in. However, Stillwater was, the team was housed closest to that lane, and so one Sophie Chow was encouraged, voluntold by her coach to get in and get it once the event had. So everybody claps, and it's just sort of a thing. But yes, the swimmer who drops it in does not want to take credit for that. The other thing you might notice, and sometimes your counter is going to shake your card at you or turn it upside down, and sometimes those are secret codes, and quite often it's just go fast, which is not a super secret code. That's what you're going to want to do. You're looking at some of these splits. They're doing well. In the consolation heat, I believe from yesterday, we were seeing, you know, splits somewhere in this neighborhood. Of course, everybody always goes out pretty fast. You're going to see in the consolation heat, well, they still went out pretty fast on Thursday. You know, 28s, 29s in that first adrenaline-filled. You don't want to turn it upside down, by the way, on a 6 or a 9, because that could really mess up your swimmer. But look at her.
There's what you're talking about.
Look at her.
Though,
She's
shaking the card.
Yep, she's egging her on. And it feels good as a swimmer when you see that. You know somebody's rooting for you. I mean, you know your whole team is out there rooting for you.
Well, she turned it upside down on a 6.
Now I'm confused. Uh-oh.
Well, Brandon Mills aren't confused. They've been keeping pace.
They're
usually one swimmer pulls away, right?
Yeah, they're great swimmers.
Brant, well, an 8th grader, so this is a
wonderful showing for
I don't want
her.
to say dry run because she's in a pool, but but for future meets, you know, she won't make the championship in this one, but she's putting in a good time.
She can earn some points.
She can earn some points, and this could bode well heading into next year. Remember, she's an 8th grader. That's an 8th grader leading a junior, and those two, they've been consistent. Brant has held a slight lead, but usually you see one swimmer pull away with 7 lengths to go. Those two are consistent remarkably.
Yeah, this is too early to call because you'll see people just fly up the pool at the last 25 if they have plenty in the tank, and that could be their strategy. Once again, most swimmers want to keep pretty evenly distributed splits, meaning, and these girls they're pretty consistently hitting that 34 second for each split, the 2 leaders, Linnea and Bryn. In the championship heat, you might see a slightly faster average. Championship heat, you might see a 31 average split. They are staying pretty close together. Now, Bryn might be doing that as a strategy, just keeping an eye on where first place is, or first place in the consolation heat, and just then plan to just gas right past her towards the end. I've seen a lot of swimmers do that. Force your competitor to go out a little faster than she'd like just to stay ahead, and then you're going to get her in the end. You never know.
Well, you see the counters shaking those cards, especially with Brent and Mills still in close proximity. Their counters are urging them on. 3 more lengths to go. 5:10:01.
There, look at that.
5:10:01 is the qualifying time.
Yep.
It doesn't look like these swimmers will match that,
No.
but you hear the bell. 1 more circuit, 2 more lengths.
You're seeing the starter ring the bell over the event leader right now, so that's always a good encouragement when you hear the bell directly over you.
Linnea Brandt certainly encouraged as she has maintained her lead over Mills.
They know they've got
And you
the
see the
red blocks. Time to go. Watch Bryn. She's going to make her move, but it's probably not going to work. She's only got about 15 yards to go. Still an impressive finish for her.
Brandt has been smooth all the way through.
Yeah.
She will finish first, 5:32:53. Mills, 5:34:44. That was quite the swim.
Yeah,
with
it
those
was.
two.
They held pretty. Brandt's pretty consistent on her time. It looks like Bryn maybe dropped a second, which is great at this level.
Here's a look at the finish, and we still have a few swimmers completing their run, so this will take a moment.
I heard a very charming story. You know, this broadcast has encouraged great stories coming out. A Mounds View swimmer told me a story about how sometimes in those dual meets, you might only have 1 or 2 in the JV heat for the 500, and this poor swimmer, she was the only one in the JV heat, and she was nearly in tears. She didn't want to see how they're finishing here, but she didn't want to swim it all by herself, so both teams stood around the pool and screamed for her. That really helped her through that difficult race. That's a great example of how swimmers support each other.
And now these 8 swimmers will take a well-deserved cool-off.
Absolutely.
And you notice everyone is cooling off.
Yes.
Some of the shorter races, others are like, I'm good.
Yeah, it's
Not
good.
this one.
It's good. This one I definitely need to, especially if you have anything else that you're swimming in the remainder of the meet, you need a cool down. It's really important to make sure that you're not building up the lactic acid, especially after swimming such an impressive long race.
Now we'll head to the battle of Stillwater and Woodbury. The 4 Stillwater swimmers are Allison Poole in 1, Rachel Steele in lane 2, Sydney Detman in lane 3, and Annika Wright in lane 5. The Woodbury swimmers, Maya Tays in lane 4, Addison Forshee in lane 6, Jacobson in 7, Lucy Jacobson and Margaret Severson in lane 8. So 2 schools will battle it out, and the fastest preliminary time is Maya Tays, 5:20:19, but as we saw in the last race, anything can happen.
It sure can, and Maya is definitely one to watch. Very talented swimmer. She is from Woodbury, currently ranked 18th in the state. Her best time at True Team was 5:18:37. I'm a little curious about this. I remember seeing her swimming for Eastridge. I'm wondering if she transferred schools. So she's a talented swimmer that has been on a couple of different teams in this area. Fun to watch. Sydney Detman, currently ranked number 3 in the state. She did an impressive 5:03 at True Team State.
So you wonder if Detman maybe left something in the tank for this event, knowing that the prelim, she was going to, as long as her pace is good enough to make it into the final, save your strength, save your energy.
She did. She's one of those really, really strategic swimmers. She knows exactly how much to put in to get what she needs. Annika Wright, who we're hoping can have a great swim here after a little bit of a disappointment in the IM. She's ranked 11th in the state with a time of 5:12. So she's not far off that. As if I recall, at qualifiers, she did quite well.
So keep an eye out for Detman. If her fastest time is 5:03, and her preliminary time was 5:22:95, Detman could be the dark horse.
Oh, absolutely. Not even that dark. She's
well, if you're from Stillwater, no one's really a dark horse if you're at Stillwater. That's because they're all ponies.
Yeah, that's no. Is there
now.
a penalty for that? Could we get some sort of punishment in here? Thank you. Yeah, Rachel Steele, the 4th Stillwater swimmer, got a personal best at prelims. She swam a 5:26. That was a personal best for her. So let's see if she can cut even more time.
And we should point out the split from 1st through 8th, 11.5 seconds. So not a
big
gap between 1st through 8th. So
agreed.
This is going to be a highly strategic race.
It is.
As far as when do you put on the gas, when do you hold off, and how do you keep pace with the other swimmers? Right now, it's Detman with the early lead, but we have 18 lengths of the pool to go. So
watching these splits in prelims, they're about 28 apiece, and looks like they're holding
28-11,
state.
right? 28-28. Both of them ahead of Taze, but a lot of lengths to be run.
Absolutely too close to call, but two pony swimmers are starting to pull out. That's Ani Wright and Sid Detman. Ani had a real heartbreaker earlier in the meet where she did disqualify and clarified. She did turn to her back, or turn to the breast. They say the rule is don't turn to your breast as you're finishing your backstroke, and that's unfortunately what gave the disqualification. Look at those splits again. They're holding steady at that 30-31.
Detman and Wright still in first and second, and they pulled away to a body length lead over Taze. Now there's still 15 lengths of the pool to go, so Taze can certainly swim her way back into this, but going off of what you said with Detman and her personal best and Annika Wright no slouch, it's a little surprising to see Taze this far behind early, but again, that second half, she could be saving up, she could be saving her energy for the second half of this run, because you're in the pool for over 5 minutes. That's a lot of time.
Absolutely. And noting, of course, that not only are Sydney Detman and Annika Wright great friends, but they're great teammates. They know when they're spotting each other, it's a great check-in. You know how the other swimmer is. You know when you're pacing yourself, if you choose to pace yourself on somebody else, where you are and how you can swim it. It's certainly, when you know someone well enough like that, you can use that as part of your strategy. Again, there is our 8th grader Addison Forshee from Woodbury. She had a great prelim swim. She was holding in tight, I want to say with Annika Wright. So she dropped a significant amount of time. I remember at True Team sections that she was out fast and furious. Unfortunately ran out of gas, so she has definitely learned as a very young swimmer, an impressive young swimmer, how to pace herself a little bit better. So I expect to see her do well in this as well.
Wright looking to make a move. She had a slightly faster split. She trails Detman by 0.6 of a second. Both have about a body and a half length ahead of Taze as we are in the second half of this 500-yard swim, 9 lengths to go.
Watch how important the hydrodynamic, we're gonna have everybody saying that by the end of this broadcast. Watch how important the hydrodynamic strategy of the streamline is, and the transition. These turns are hugely important. And if you're someone who swims club, especially long course, in a 50-meter pool, you have to think about how these turns break up your time and how they slow you down, or you can use them to your advantage and speed up. Anytime you're underwater, you're working not as hard, obviously, but also you can rest and you can make up a lot of time. They are really pulling away. Stillwater swimmers are looking very good.
And let's not forget about those flag markers, which are required at every pool, 5 yards to the wall to give swimmers that cue. This is an exceptional performance. There's a look at the flag, and Detman, again, we know she can post some blistering times in the 500, and you see the counters for the Stillwater swimmers and Detman and Wright. They don't even have to shake the boards. They see those two are putting together a great pace. Taze had the fastest time, but I think Detman had the strategy, knowing that I can go hard, but I don't have to push myself too hard in the prelims. Save that for the section meet when it counts, and Detman and Wright have pulled away from Taze.
And depending on how much stock you put in those knee skins, and I'm sure Elsmore would like me to tell you that they're very important, but neither of those swimmers, this is another strategy if you're one of the top swimmers, neither of those swimmers wore their knee skins for prelims. So it's very possible that that's giving them a little bit more of an edge than they had for prelims. Again, they're wonderful swimmers.
There's the bell for Sydney Detman in lane 3, and Wright not far behind. Detman with a 1 6/10 second lead. Barring something strange, these two will punch their way to the state tournament, the state meet, I should say. And
that's
they're all by
kid.
themselves.
Yeah, they sure are, and that's my kid counting for Ani Wright. So it will be great for Ani Wright to look at her. Look at how she's turning on the wheels. She has a lot in the tank, and Sydney's a great swimmer. There's no doubt she's going to win this, but Ani really sped up at the end there. Good job, Annika Wright, and that's got to feel good after the disappointment of the 200 IM. Well done.
5:07.95, so Detman beat the qualifying time, although she is going in anyway. And Annika Wright, 5:10.53. Tays finishing third.
Forshee, the 8th grader, got 4th. Rachel Steele, 5th, and Allison Poole, 6th. So ponies, all 4 in the top 6.
And Sydney Detman, knowing exactly when she needed to go full throttle, and she does that. 5:07.95. Detman and Wright will compete in the 500 freestyle next week at the U of M Aquatic Center.
Whew. I don't know. I feel as tired as those guys. Is that fair? I feel like we've earned, you know, some exhaustion. We talked about it. I think that's as exhausting as swimming it. Don't you think, Mike?
I think I would give the edge to the swimmers. They actually put in the work. We just get to share a few fun facts about them.
All right.
We get to share some stories. It's the swimmers that are the reason we're here.
Oh, I think you're missing an opportunity. They're not listening to us right now. We could claim just about anything we want, right?
I know, but they'll be watching this on tape.
That's true.
I don't want the entire swimming brethren to descend on me.
Ooh, that's
because
true.
you know how hard ponies can stomp.
They can, and they know where I live, so I probably should be. Good job, girls. Very impressive. I know how hard it is, and you guys earned every bit of those medals.
Detman and Wright will punch their way to state. Tays did knock off some time from her preliminary, but Detman and Wright having the long game in mind and giving a great swim. So another pair of Stillwater athletes. Stillwater, well, no surprise. They send a lot of swimmers to the U of M every year, and 2021 will be no exception.
Yeah, and Maya is still, based on that time, still solidly in the top 20 in the state. So impressive.
And she
for both
beat
girls.
her prior time, 5:18.37. So that's something that's something to hang her hat on, and perhaps next year she'll take some notes from Detman and Wright. I imagine she knows about their competency. And let's go to the medal ceremony.
15th place with a time of 6:27.90 from Tartan, Elizabeth Acola. In 15th place with a time of 6:18.73 from Tartan, Gabby Fleming. In 14th place with a time of 6:15.86 from White Bear Lake, Gabby Perrin. In 13th place with a time of 6 minutes, .82 from Mounds View, Daisy Bai. In 12th place with a time of 5:51.94 from Mounds View, Gina Song. In 11th place with a time of 5:46.25 from Mounds View, Samantha Wheeler. In 10th place with a time of 5:34.44 from Mounds View, Bryn Mills. And our consolation champion with a time of 5:32.53 from Roseville, Linnea Brandt. These are our medalists in the 500-yard freestyle. Way to go, girls! In 8th place with a time of 5:31.97 from Woodbury, Margaret Severson. In 7th place with a time of 5:28.53 from Woodbury, Lucy Jacobson. In 6th place with a time of 5:26.99 from Stillwater, Allison Poole. In 5th place with a time of 5:24.89 from Stillwater, Rachel Steele. In 4th place with a time of 5:24.79 from Woodbury, Addison Forshee. In 3rd place with a time of 5:17.20 from Woodbury, Maya Talese. Top 2 will represent us at state next week, and they are in 2nd place with a time of 5:10.53 from Stillwater, Annika Wright. freestyle. She's a junior from Stillwater with a time of 5:07.95, Sydney Detman.
Well, I'll have to submit my apologies. We've thrown a couple of different pronunciations
Yeah,
for Maya,
yeah.
and we don't get a pronunciation guide. So,
No,
Maya's parents, if
unfortunately.
you're watching and you want to submit how do you
Yeah, a
pronounce the name for
complaint?
next year,
Yeah.
or, well, complaint, mostly
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, send that to the dude, care of
The dude.
the dude. Yeah. So up
Yes.
next we have a really fun relay. You're gonna feel the energy. You already saw as we were going to awards the White Bear team getting pumped.
And that's because it's a 200-yard freestyle relay. Each swimmer 2 lengths of the pool. And this is another one where strategy could come into play. Roseville with the fastest time, but not by much. Only 38 hundredths of a second faster than Stillwater.
Yep.
So Roseville in lane 4. Ingrid Holm, Emma Granowski, Sophia Seifert, and Greta Wiskus. Stillwater in lane 5. Sydney Detman's got to get back into the pool. So after that 500.
She's warmed up.
Right,
She's ready to go.
That's probably why she took that cool down.
Yeah.
Ellie Kill, Lucy Siegschlag, and Nora Notches. And Mounds View, they weren't that far behind either. Just a second off of Roseville in the prelims. Sarah Wachowski, Dara Ostrom, Ellie Lynch, and Elena Schmitzer. So we could see quite the battle. Now, again, it all depends on strategy. Did Stillwater leave something on the table for the prelims, or does Roseville and Mounds View have something in the tank for them?
Well, they're all great teams, and we're going to see a fun relay here. But this is at least I can speak to Stillwater. This is a different group of swimmers than in prelims. Typically, you might reserve your top team in prelims. You know you're going to make it into the final. Again, it's great to see all 7 teams represented in this event. Again, this is the championship heat. There is no consolation because all 7 are represented this time.
And we should point out that for relays, you can exchange swimmers from prelims to this. So it's not uncommon. You see that a lot in the Olympics where you'll save your top swimmers for the championship heat.
Yes, and this is the only instance where you can do that. For example, if someone qualifies for state as an individual, no one can be put in her place for that. It must be the individual. But the relays, they can swap out any amount of different times. And again, these teams are have such a deep depth and talent that any one of these teams, you know, Mounds View, I know swam some different, there were some different swimmers, I believe. I think Captain Daisy Bai, I think I saw her swim in a relay. And my memory might be failing me. I apologize, Daisy, but I know I saw her swim in a relay. So they might have swapped out some people as well. This one's going to be very competitive. We have our Stillwater. They're being announced as we speak. Our Stillwater relay is ranked 17th in the state, and Mounds View is ranked 20th. So they are going. This is going to be a very competitive race.
How does Detman approach this? She's the first leg for Stillwater. She just finished that 500-yard run, and now she has to go 2 more lengths.
You know, somebody as athletic and talented as Detman, it's, you know, I mean, it sounds daunting to many of us, but for her, they do this quite a bit. In fact, I have often seen personal bests come out of those 50s in this relay after swimming the 500, because really your muscles are warmed up and you are ready to go. I mean, it exhausts the rest of us who may not be quite in the same shape as these girls, but don't expect anything less than her best in this, because she's warmed up, she's ready to go. It might be kinder to have her swim, you know, 3rd or 4th. However, there is a strategy in the order of the relay. Assuming it's not the medley relay, you gotta, you don't want to mix up your backstroker and your breaststroker. But for these freestyle relays, there's a strategy. Do you swim your fastest to get out? Do you swim your fastest swimmers 1st and 4th? That's a pretty classic one. You want your anchor to really get out there. Looks like we are not skimping on our first swimmers there.
Detman's getting out there.
She's not tired, I don't think.
Detman pulling out to a half body length lead. Now almost a full body length.
That is pretty exceptional in a 50, as you know.
This is coming after the
Look at that
500-yard
time,
swim.
24:44. My goodness.
8/10 of a second. Now it's Ellie Kill's turn, and she tries to hold off Emma Granovsky.
Yeah, she again qualified for state in the 50, so we can see great things from her. But that 24:44, now coach is going to have to decide if he puts her in the 50 next year. Geez. Mounds View and Woodbury neck and neck. Woodbury is not going to give this one up easy.
The qualifying time is 1:40 flat. Top two, of course, automatically advanced 24.58 for Ellie Kill, and Stillwater with a 2-second lead.
You want to be careful in these exchanges, as always, because the worst thing that can happen is you're doing really well and you leave that block just a little bit early. Remember, a relay start is very different than an individual start. The swimmer on the block can start motion before the swimmer touches. However, she cannot leave a toe. She has to leave a toe on the block until her partner touches the wall.
Stillwater
This is
pulling
They're
away.
going for it.
Siege Log 25-10 her split. So
Lucy's
the
having a
ponies
great meet.
once again didn't have the fastest time, but they put out their best swimmers for this section meet. Nora Natchez will bring the ponies home into the state meet next week. 138.71. 24.59 is the split for Natchez.
It looks like
and Woodbury
got second.
taking second.
That was close. That's 3/10 and some change, 0.35 difference. That's got to feel good for Woodbury. They're going to state, just 0.35.
For context, their preliminary was 148.84, but again, you can swap your swimmers.
They
So
sure did.
the Woodbury quartet, Ava Hacker, Chloe Carlson, Maya Tellez, and Ava Reich, those were the four that helped Woodbury advance to state.
They did.
And Woodbury, again, well, if you look at the prelim times, and this is something you understand as a swimmer, as a few of them will take part in the cool down, Woodbury, they were over 7 seconds off of Roseville's prelim time, so you wonder, okay, maybe Woodbury's out of it, but again, strategy comes into play with those relays.
It really does, and the element of surprise is apparently a winning strategy. Although none of these girls are going to sit and rest on their laurels. It's such an important meet, but you do want to get pumped up, and you can see Stillwater didn't leave anything to chance. They really went for it.
And Woodbury with the strong final leg. So the Ponies and Royals, they've been leading the way in this section, and they're going to send their relay teams in this event to the state meet next week.
That'll be fun. I wonder if Woodbury is trying to make a statement after True Team Sections. They were just edged out for second at True Team Sections by Mounds View. Again, this is a very talented section. Coming up next, 100-yard backstroke.
And that's where the flags really come into play. We're waiting for the award ceremony, and this takes a little longer. Well, maybe not, because you only have to announce 7 teams instead of 16 individuals. But we're waiting for Jane to finish jotting down her notes.
Yeah. So those flags
she probably
are,
is lodging a few complaints.
Yeah, she might, maybe about us.
Probably on me.
Most likely.
You were going to say about the flags, though.
If she's lodging a complaint about me, I'm going to hear for it in first person. The flags are crucial for our backstrokers. As you said earlier, they are exactly 5 yards from the end of the pool, and that is consistent pool to pool, so that swimmers can count and know exactly how many arm strokes they are away from the wall. Now, something that's interesting to note, again, I'm going to date myself. We did not have knee skins back in the day when I was swimming, but one of my daughters was mentioning that in a knee skin, you have to really make sure you know your exact arm count and be precise, because your knee skin might affect your arm count to the wall. So that's something that's to be considered.
Here's the medal ceremony.
Go ahead. Go ahead. 7th place, the team of Addie Johnson, Claire Whitcomb, Kylie Petty, and Ella Moss with a time of 1:58.79 from White Bear Lake. In 6th place, the team of Sarah Cook, Sydney Hoffman, Charlize Herr, and Annalie Royce with a time of 1:57.24 from North St. Paul. In 5th place, the team of Isabella Stark, Jordan Blank, Lily Hunkel Moran, and Madison Steens with a time of 1:48.92 from Tartan. In 4th place, the team of Sarah Wachowskis, Dara Ostrom, Ellie Lynch, and Elena Schmitzer with a time of 1:42.41 from Mounds View. In 3rd place, the team of Ingrid Holm, Emma Gravotsky, Sophia Seifert, and Greta Wiskus with a time of 1:41.57 from Roseville. The top two will represent Section 4AA at the state meet next week, and they are: in 2nd place, the team of Ava Hacker, Chloe Carlson, Maya Taiz, and Ava Reich of Woodbury with a time of 1:41.22. And the 2021 champion in the 200-yard freestyle relay, the team of Nora Nadjas, a sophomore, Lucy Seachlag, a junior, Ellie Kill, a senior, and Sydney Detman, a junior, with a time of 1:38.71 from Stillwater.
Like Reyes or like any other like
Well, those 4 Stillwater swimmers, they know how to pony up for the camera.
Oh man, you have been saving these up since the last swim meet, haven't you?
I also got a warm-up session of sorts yesterday with hockey, and
that's true.
We are back with more hockey if you are a hockey fan. Stillwater and Minnetonka girls hockey on Tuesday at the St. Croix Valley Rec Center. But right now, we've got a couple more individual races. The 100-yard backstroke is coming up next, and this is one where we have a lot of experience. All the 4 Stillwater swimmers. You've got a pair in this one. So
this one's
Sophia
going to be
and Bella,
a
what has their mood been like? We have the consolation first, but they've had a couple of days to prep for this.
They have,
and I take it they've gone against each other many times.
They have, and this is going to be an emotional one for me because it's the last time my 2 older girls swim against each other. So I'm
for you, I imagine it's even more emotional for them.
Yeah,
because
they are very
how
tight.
long have they spent in the pool? Now they've got to go against each other, perhaps for a state meet berth.
Yes, because in prelims, they, Eva Johns again, exceptional swimmer. She is ranked, I think she might be 3rd in state in Hunter back. So the fight is always 3rd in state. The fight is always for that 2nd place, and my girls qualified in 2nd and 3rd place. So there's, of course, you can't discount anybody in the field.
Have they been talking to each other the last couple of days?
They are.
Did they still have?
No one's going to believe. Yes, no one's going to believe me, but they are so supportive of each other. They are.
Okay, so the 2 have been on speaking terms.
Yeah,
no sibling rivalry.
No, they don't. And I think it was especially nice because my junior Sophia ended up in 2nd for prelims. It was her birthday, so that was pretty nice. We have a couple of birthdays this week. Don't get me in trouble. I have to say, Gabby, my 3rd daughter, her birthday is next week. So we have a lot of birthdays this week. If you want some cake, come to the Chow House.
I think your teammates, the rest of the Stillwater brethren might consider that an invitation.
Absolutely.
I hope you have enough cake for everyone.
Absolutely, we sure do.
The consolation heat is up first, and the swimmers in this one are Karina Schell, again from lane 1 on down. She's from Mounds View. Madison Steens from Tartan. Caroline Gallus from Mounds View. Marin Duran from Mounds View. Reese Van Hecke of Woodbury. Valerie Homzik of Roseville. Jenna Giles from Roseville. And Gabby Fleming from Tartan, the 8th grader, making the field of 16.
Again, this is an example of looking at these times. Pretty much all but 2 of these swimmers, maybe 3, would have made the championship heat last year. That's how much faster this section has gotten. So these ladies are to be commended. They swam their hearts out, and there's unfortunately only 8 spots in the top. But let's fight it out for 9th through 16th.
58.6 is the state qualifying time. Looks like a clean start. And again, the flag's highly crucial for these swimmers because they can't see the wall.
Watch, they're going to roll one arm stroke. This underwater is huge. This streamline underwater is huge in backstroke. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but the technical world champion in the 50-meter backstroke was disqualified because one time, just for fun, he did the entire length 50 meters underwater, and he blew out the competition by 2 seconds. You can actually go a lot faster underwater than above, but again, he disqualified because you cannot be underwater for more than 15 meters. Here we go into the last 25.
And it looks like Durand with the slight edge. Well, here
did you
comes
see that
Reese Van
underwater?
Hecke, yes.
That makes or breaks it. This one's going to be a fight to the finish.
Again, 9 points at stake for the first place finisher in this consolation heat, and it's going to be Durand by 0.11 of a second.
Impressive. Once again, that finish is crucial in backstroke. You see them dive for the wall to finish. That's really important to lunge for that wall and get that finish. That can make the difference between first and second. However, you have to keep at least a toe, and often that's all you'll see, above water at the finish. You cannot completely submerge for the finish. See that? See your knee?
Well, knee counts as well.
We will take anything, a nose, a knee, a toe.
It's not like football where a certain body part has to make contact to be considered a catch or not, or inbounds. Any part of the body will do.
Well, it looks like we're going to do a quick cool down before the championship heat.
I like how everyone turned silent and we're like, okay, did everything look clean? I didn't see any official signals, so
yeah.
We'll get ready for the second heat.
I spoke with the meet referee. He said it's just crushing, you know, to see any disqualifications at this level, but your heart breaks for the athletes. But again, even when disqualified, they should be very proud. It's a learning experience, and they're doing quite well. And the two girls who've been disqualified thus far this meet have absolutely more than redeemed themselves. They are going to state on their own right in subsequent events, so that's well done.
The swimmers for this championship heat. Lane 1, Nora Kelly from Woodbury. Lane 2, Sarah Duxon. I knew that name. I was one way. It was the other. Duxon from Stillwater, then Bella Chow in 3. Ava Johns in 4. Sophia Chow in 5. Chloe Carlson from Woodbury in 6. Siri Wilkes from Mounds View in 7. And Elsa Sorensen-Wagner in lane 8.
And I promise you that is the last time I will do my best to be objective.
And again, for anyone, even if they weren't your two swimmers, but anytime you have sisters going against each other with a berth in the state meet on the line, what is that like? It sounds like Bella and Sophia have lifted each other up and said, I'm with you to the end, but that's got to be excruciating.
It is, and it's so charming how they support each other. And this is not just sisters, but across the team. You've seen it several times where Stillwater has come in second and third, and those girls feel just as strongly for each other that if it can't be me, I want it to be a Stillwater swimmer. So that sisterhood goes deep, but especially for these two, they're pretty close, and they often go back and forth in who wins, and it's day to day. Kind of fun to watch.
So there might be some family bragging rights on the line.
There might. And there's not going to be any tears from Mama. This is the last time I'll be able to see them swim together. So we're going to try and not weep on air.
Ava Johns, her preliminary, the only one under a minute, 58.79. You have to imagine she'll put in a swift effort.
Watch her drop time. This is, again, she is a strategic swimmer who knows how to get into the championship heat.
And again, the qualifying time, 58.60. We're underway. And look at the streamline for Johns.
Right?
Using every inch available in that 15, and she is pulling away already.
We have a couple of All the Stillwater 2, 3, 4 are pretty neck and neck. And you've got Chloe Carlson of Woodbury.
The second leg of this will decide it. Johns 27.03, her split in second. Dukeson and Carlson, but we have another 50 to go. Johns, as you noted, a strategic swimmer. She knows exactly where to apply maximum effort. Johns pulling away. The battle is for second. Right now, Dukeson in 2 has got the edge. Johns, let's see what her time is. It's going to be 55.49. Dukeson holds on for second, 59.47. Dukeson's prelim time, 101.15. And again, a lot of strategy comes into play. So Johns and Dukeson will make it to state. And
way to go, ponies. It looks
Bella
to me
Sophia,
like it was it 1, 2, 3, 4 ponies?
It was.
It was. Yep, the sisters hung in together. Good for them. But
and a couple of the swimmers will cool off.
Yeah, no surprise that Sarah did well here. She did very well at True Team State. She broke a minute at True Team State as well. So
maybe another swimmer
impressive.
that was saving some energy in the tank. But again, not bad for Dukeson. She was in lane 2 and applied it when it counted. So Johns and Dukeson will go to state, and Sophia and Bella, I'm sure, will be there as well.
Yes,
even if they
will.
can't swim, they'll be cheering on their
cheering
brethren.
loudly, and fun to see them swim one last time together for the ponies. Thanks for letting me silently, gesturally, wildly. If you could have seen us in the booth, I think Mike was afraid I was going to punch him. I was moving my arms so much.
I've had worse.
Well, the meet is young. Let's see where we get with that.
Well, we've got one more individual event to go. Bella Chow in 3rd, Sophia in 4th. So Stillwater, they finish in the top 4 in this section meet.
Yes.
And Johns and Dukeson will add another event to their program. It's been a sensational day for Eva Johns. Like you said, 6 feet tall, and this is a sport that favors lengthy swimmers. Liza Carlin comes to mind.
Oh gosh,
from a couple years ago.
Yes, and a great basketball player. Another thing I want to note about the Johns is this is a big moment for the ponies. The Johns sisters, there's 3 of them, have been a part of our program for the last 11 years. So this is...
We'll finish that after the medal ceremony. We'll finish that thought.
740 from Mounds View, Corinna Schell. In 14th place from Roseville with a time of 107.38, Mallory Homstick. In 13th place from Tartan with a time of 106.62, Madison Steens. In 12th place from Roseville with a time of 106.47, Jenna Giles. In 11th place from Mounds View with a time of 105.75, Caroline Gallus. In 10th place from Woodbury with a time of 105.06, Reese Van Hooka. And our consolation champion in the 100-yard backstroke from Mounds View with a time of 104.95, Maren Durand. Here are your medalists in the 100-yard backstroke. Way to go, Ava. In 8th place with a time of 102.59 from Woodbury, Nora Kelly. In 7th place with a time of 101.73 from Woodbury, Elsa Sorensen Wagner. In 6th place with a time of 101.51 from Mounds View, Siri Wilkes. In 5th place with a time of 101.11 from Woodbury, Chloe Carlson. In 4th place with a time of 101.10 from Stillwater, Sophia Chow. In 3rd place with a time of 1 minute, .47 from Stillwater, 1 Bella Chow. represent us in the section or in the state meet next weekend, and they are. In second place from Stillwater with a time of 59:47, Sarah Duxon. And our 2021 Section 4AA champion, the 100-yard backstroke, she's a senior from Stillwater with a time of 55:49, Eva Johns.
Well, I think Stillwater could be pretty proud of itself there. First through fourth, that's impressive.
And you were mentioning the Johns having
Yes.
3 sisters, so.
Yes, Marietta, Annika, and Eva have been in the Stillwater program for 11 years. It's going to be very different without a Johns on the team. Eva, of course, is already committed to the U of M for swimming. We're so thrilled that we're still going to see her in our state Gophers. And I should mention that there's a lot of legacies in swimming, as we talked about. It seems like, you know, if you're going to the pool that much, maybe parents just force siblings into the sport. It's a lot easier. But last year we said goodbye to the Sneedens. 5 girls went through this program. They had been a part of the program for 16 years, and I actually see them in the audience. They're never once a pony parent, always a pony parent. So we're glad to see them in the stands cheering. And I think I'm holding it together pretty well. A lot of our parents of seniors have been talking about how bittersweet this is, just saying goodbye to a lot of relationships. And I know all of the senior swimmers tonight from all 7 of our teams have much to be proud of. And we are so proud of you too. So well done to every senior swimming tonight.
We now move to the 100-yard breaststroke consolation heat first, and the swimmers are Jamie Nick in lane 1 from Mounds View, Anna Mashura from Roseville, Grace Burry from Mounds View, Audrey Quackenbush from Mounds View, Ifan Zai from Woodbury, Ella Moss from White Bear Lake, Amari Conway from Woodbury, and Jordan Blank from Tartan. The qualifying time is 1:07:12. This is the last individual event in our schedule.
Yeah, it's literally going fast, isn't it, Mike? It's a pretty fast meet. These, Marin Durand, I know that was a name that we talked about a lot during True Team section. She's having a great meet. I know she won a consolation heat in her last individual, so let's see what she can do today. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong. There we go. That was maybe not the right page. I've lost it now. Let's look, but we still like Marin. That's why we talk about her so much. Audrey Quackenbush is a name that I remember from club. A lot of these girls swim club in the off season, and so they have individual relationships across teams. That's very apparent as you see them lining up behind the blocks. There's a lot of, how are you, how have you been, catching up, and they really are genuinely happy for each other when they do well, because later they're going to be teammates on club teams. State qualifying time for this event is 1:07:12.
Four lengths of the pool in this breaststroke.
Seeing the underwater pull-out there, you can see the one big arm pull, one big breaststroke kick, and then they have to break the surface and then continue with breaststroke.
And Conway had the longest of the pullouts there, starting in the lead.
And watch what a difference that makes. You might not be ahead of somebody coming into the wall, but if you've got an underwater pullout that goes well, you're gonna sprint down the lane much faster. Watch the 2-hand touches.
Quackenbush with the fastest time, 35:36 in the split, that is.
Once again, this is one of those events where only five of the 2020 championship heat swimmers would have made the championship heat this time. These are fast breaststrokers.
Quackenbush and Zai, first and second. Zai with a strong second leg of this race. It's going to be a battle. I think Zai got the edge. She did. 39.77 was her split. 155.54. So Ifan, the sophomore, wins the consolation heat.
fun to watch it in slow motion. It just shows you how the timing of this stroke really matters. Do you see how Moundsview only got, Quackenbush only got half of a stroke? And I'm not saying that's what happened there, but the timing of this is so crucial. Both swam a very good race.
And as they cool off, the swimmers for the championship heat from lane 1 on down, Malia Johnson from Woodbury, Paige Bacon from Roseville, Jayla Peterson from Stillwater, Maddie Reed from Stillwater, Nora Notjes from Stillwater, Margaret Severson from Woodbury, Ella Bush from Stillwater, and Grace Campbell from Roseville. There's a look at the leaderboard from the first, and as you can see, the names have been entered into the leaderboard already. Those are the times from the consolation heats. 107.12, the qualifying time. Reed's prelim was already fast enough, but again, she has to post that time or finish first or second here.
Once again, she's ranked 3rd in the state for 100 breaststroke, so it's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait to see what she turns out. Nora Notjes is ranked 15th in the state, and Jayla and Ella are fantastic breaststrokers too. Again, a very impressive program at Stillwater breaststroke.
And we'll see if we can get that leaderboard up on screen for this championship heat, because I imagine, there we go.
Ask and you shall receive.
I have that kind of power here. Anything I say, well, almost anything.
Let's see if we can get some pizza in the booth, Mike. I think that might take
I could
longer.
go for a pepperoni or
pepperoni, that
or a
sounds
pep
good.
sausage.
Yeah.
All right, I don't see it yet.
This is going to be almost a dad joke, but when I'm teaching breaststroke, I do tell them to make a pizza with their arms. So they're creating the circle with their hands, make the pizza, and then put it in the oven. So that is, watch them, and now you won't be able to unsee it. When they're swimming, they're making a pizza. So this would be a really good time to bring that pepperoni pizza. Told you.
You know what you're doing. You know what's going to happen thanks to you. I can see it now. The swimmers, as they're doing their runs in the middle of their race, are going to ask themselves, does pineapple belong on pizza?
It does. It does, and I will fight anybody who challenges that. But yeah,
I could
it
see
does.
that. Maddie Reed going, all right, does pineapple belong?
I'm not sure that's the strategic thinking during a race, but it could be. I mean, if you're as talented as Maddie, then, you know, I mean, you could probably think about just about anything.
And Nora Notjes, her prelim time 108.49, so she's not far off.
She's not. She looked great in prelims. It was fun to watch that race. Something we haven't really talked about. Watch that dolphin kick. There's the underwater. And now let's start making pizzas. See? Can't unsee it.
And you notice the dolphin kick really comes into play in the breaststroke compared to the other disciplines.
Yes, it does. You're only allowed one dolphin kick, and then you must do a whip kick, which is the breaststroke kick. Something we haven't talked about is the adjustable backs on the starting blocks. And it's interesting to watch how different swimmers use those blocks differently. They can, of course, move the back kick forward or back, depending on if you're 6'1" or 5'4". But a lot of them will put one foot up. Some of them don't care to use it at all. Some of them have both toes curled over the edge. So it's just a matter of preference and practice.
Reed with a 39-4 split. She is leading Notjes in lane 5.
Nora's looking great in second.
Yeah, those two are comfortably ahead. So,
Jayla is
something weird, they'll make it to state.
Yes, Jayla is holding off Paige just by half a stroke, but don't discount the Woodbury swimmer, Severson.
Reed wins 105.38 and Notjes 106.96. Reed not far off from the meet record, missed it by a third of a second, and Notjes 106.96, which matched Reed's preliminary time. So those two, well, they won first and second, so they would advance the state anyway, but they both got under the qualifying time.
That is really impressive. Again, these are young swimmers. We're going to be enjoying watching them swim for years to come. It looks like Jayla from Stillwater got third, and that Woodbury swimmer, Severson, got fourth place. Well done. Ella Bush of Stillwater took sixth place. She's a senior. We will miss seeing her next year, but a great swim by all 8 of our championship swimmers.
And a pair of Stillwater sophomores make it to the state meet next week at the U of M Aquatic Center. We have one more event to go. Hopefully we will get the, we did already.
I know.
I was like, did we get the sheet list
Great
for the
job.
relay?
While
we
you're
did.
looking at those, Malia Johnson, 8th grader from Woodbury, that's going to be an impressive swimmer. Again, it's fun to watch them as they're just starting out.
She finished 7th.
That's great. I mean, 7th and 8th grader to be in this meet is impressive. To be in the championship heat, extraordinary. So well done to all of our young swimmers. Who have we got in the 400?
Well, we'll get to that once Jane gets through the award ceremony, but this is another one where Stillwater might have another hand to play because they did not get the fastest prelim time.
Fourth, in fact.
Fourth. But again, as you know, you can swap out swimmers.
And they did. They did.
So that could be another one where don't let the lane assignment fool you. Stillwater could find their way into the state meet. And
that's a famous Coach Luke saying. He says, if you've got a lane, you've got a chance. So, and that's very true in this championship heat. Of course, with the relays, all 7 of our teams are represented and have a chance at a medal.
Here's the award ceremony.
In 16th place with a time of 1:22.28 from Mounds View, Jamie Nick. In 15th place with a time of 1:20.30 from Tartan, Jordan Blank. In 14th place with a time of 1:18.48 from Roseville, Anna Matura. In 13th place with a time of 1:17.38 from Woodbury, Amari Conway. In 12th place with a time of 1:17.37 from White Bear Lake, Ella Moss. In 11th place with a time of 1:16.99 from Mounds View, Grace Burry. In 10th place with a time of 1:15.79 from Mounds View, Audrey Quackenbush. And our consolation champion with a time of 1:15.54 from Woodbury, Ethan Zai. Here are your medalists in the 100-yard breaststroke. In 8th place with a time of 1:14.33 from Roseville, Grace Campbell. In 7th place with a time of 1:13.53 from Woodbury, Malaya Johnson. In 6th place with a time of 1:12.99 from Stillwater, Ella Bush. In 5th place with a time of 1:11.93 from Roseville, Paige Bacon. In 4th place with a time of 1:11.48 from Woodbury, Margaret Severson. In 3rd place with a time of 1:11.15 from Stillwater, Jayla Peterson. The top 2 medalists will be going to state representing Section 4AA, and they are in 2nd place with a time of 1:06.96 from Stillwater, Nora Najas. And our Section 4AA champion in the 100-yard breaststroke, she is a sophomore from Stillwater with a time of 1:05.38, Maddie Reed.
As we're getting into that 400 relay, just want to point out that Stillwater is currently ranked number 2 in the state. The team of Eva, Maddie, Nora, and Sid got 3:32.03 at True Team State. Now there's only one substitution there, swapping Nora for Ellie, but Ellie is having a great meet, so I feel like the places might shift here. At least I'm hoping so.
Well, the swimmers, in case you're wondering who they are, Ava Johns, Maddie Reed, Ellie Kill, and Sydney Detman. 4 names we've mentioned a lot over the course of this 4-2A swim meet. It's the relay, so no consolation. One more event to go. The fastest prelim time belongs to Woodbury. They will have Elsa Sorensen Wagner lead off, Ava Reich, Addison Forshee, and Maya Tejas, that's our best guess. She
We're
will be the
alternating
anchor.
pronunciations, so we got to be getting it close. All 4 of those swimmers have had an excellent meet as well.
And Roseville, for what it's worth, they weren't that far behind in the prelim time. Ingrid Holmes, Sophia Seifert, Linnea Brandt, and Greta Wiskus. Lanes 4, 5, and 6. But again, Stillwater perhaps sending their ace up their sleeve, or in this case, several of them. Ava Johns with a fantastic performance today. Maddie
So
Reed,
fun to
Ellie
watch.
Kill, she'll compete in a couple of individual races. Sydney Detman, so I wouldn't be surprised if Stillwater pulls out with the win here, but it all depends on what the other swimmers have for them. Stillwater will be in lane 6, Roseville 5, Woodbury 4. And then North St. Paul, they're in 1, White Bear Lake in 2, Mounds View in 3, Tartan in 7. And again, this is our final event of the day. And
this one always brings down the house. This one has tons of excitement. I'd love to see where we are with the points. I don't know that Jane has announced them recently.
Well, Stillwater was up by over 100 the last time I got a glimpse at it. So
Right.
they'll take the section meet. Again,
Yeah.
bragging rights on the line. It's not a qualification measure for events like this, but
Not going on to state, but it is
just another reminder that Stillwater has a lot of talent at their disposal.
Yes, they do. And sometimes being in a team that has such deep talent is great, like for True Team State. And sometimes it's harder because you can't necessarily, even if you have a team that would make you the top swimmer on another team, if you're in that 5th spot, you weren't able to swim in this meet as an individual. But it's truly amazing to be a part of a program that has such a long history and a strong history. The girls really enjoy spending time together, and all of the teams you'll see tonight have huge spirit for each other. You're hearing good timing. You're hearing big cheers and lots of enthusiasm for each of these individuals and teams as a whole. Just announced the Stillwater, so that's going to be a big cheer. You're actually seeing some of Stillwater's deep talent behind the swimmers right now as our JV conference swimmers are serving as timers, so that's kind of special that they could be a part of the day. They're not allowed to cheer. That's a rule. If you're a timer, you cannot cheer for your swimmer. Oh, look at that. There they are. We have swimmers from 7th through 12th grade timing for the girls. Right now they look really engaged and excited, but they do enjoy spending time and being a part of this meet.
4 lengths for each swimmer. And it looks like we got a clean start.
Eva's already pulling ahead. It's amazing how you can see in the first 10 yards she's pulling ahead.
No surprise when, based on what we saw in the 100-yard freestyle
The rest of the field is sticking together pretty well.
Let's see what her split time is. We'll see if we can get it up on screen for you. 24.72.
Wow, 24.72 is
the next closest was over 2.5 seconds behind Ingrid Holm. Johns, look at this.
She might have time to stop for a sandwich. I don't know, but
the way she can increase the gap and just
but just look at how
in her
smart her
tracks.
stroke is. It doesn't look like she's flying, but she's pulling so beautifully underwater. And you're not just pulling with your hands. I know as a non-swimmer it might just be, oh, how big are your hands? But you're really pulling with your entire forearm. That's a big part of the pull.
51.99 was Johns' time. Reed is in the pool now.
51.99, I believe, would be a qualification to get into the state meet.
Well, I think she's already there.
She's going. She's going.
She's taking care of that.
Her dance card is full for state, but just at the end of the meet like that, to be able to pull out something that impressive. And again, you can only swim. You can only be entered in 4 events maximum. But she certainly has done that.
26.14 was Maddie Reed's first split. 3:39.68 is the qualifying time, in case you're wondering. Reed is all by herself.
Yeah.
And that start that Johns had, where she just exploded the distance between herself and everyone else, really set the tone.
Looks like Woodbury is firmly in second. We'll see if they can hold that.
They've got a second and a half, a little more than that over Mounds View. Ellie Kill in the pool now in lane 6.
But again, every time you're changing a swimmer, it is startling how one swimmer can change the entire relay. Especially, this is where it comes to grit. There are times where a swimmer just wants it so much that she might dig in and swim faster than anybody thought possible.
Ellie Kill 26:31 in her first 50. What you said could describe Ava Johns. She wanted it so badly, she just took off.
She did.
I'll catch up with the rest of you.
She did. Another swimmer who knows how to close a deal like nobody's business is about to jump in the pool. Sydney Detman, who obviously is headed to the state meet and doing well, but I've never seen somebody come from behind it. At True Team State, we watched her just dig in and fly.
Doesn't need to here, but
no.
She's going to fly regardless.
She is. But if there's anybody in Detman's sights, watch out.
She's about to lap
yeah.
Tartan in lane 7. That is an indicator of the blistering pace Stillwater has blazed in this pool. What a way to go out in the final race of the afternoon.
Looks like Woodbury is still holding on to that second place spot. It's hard to see them, unfortunately, right now as we keep pace with our first place.
The meet record is in no danger of being broken, but that's okay. Sydney Detman can celebrate in this final 25, or at least pace herself.
Yeah.
The rest of Stillwater will start the celebration, and Detman will soon join them as she touches the blocks. 3:33.96. And the second place finisher will be Woodbury, 3:41.63.
Mounds View hung in there, third place by just 3 seconds.
So Stillwater and Woodbury will compete in the state meet in this event. And for Stillwater, they're going to have a busy program. Again, that's no surprise for someone like yourself, used to seeing a bunch of Stillwater swimmers in the field.
It is. We are thrilled every time we see it. We're so proud of these girls, and I know all the other teams here today are so proud of their girls. It's been fun to have spectators today because we can kind of make connections with some of those spectators and parents from other teams and congratulate them on some remarkable swims. Every single one of these teams has so much to be proud of.
And we're still waiting for North St. Paul to complete their run.
I'm so glad that they are.
Elizabeth Peabody, the 8th grader, will bring it home.
It's got to feel good to get a medal in this event for North St. Paul.
And now that's a wrap. Well, the swimmers are going to cool off.
Some of them
kind
with a cannonball.
Right. I do find it a little amusing that they cool off in the last event of the day. So you know, there are no more races, but I suppose they want it.
Swimmers, like many athletes, can be
good.
Very superstitious as well. I mean, it is the last meet, but sometimes they just have to. It's like muscle memory or superstition. They have to. I could embarrass one of our swimmers by announcing that she has to have green grapes before every meet, and she has to go to Acapulco's. There's a little plug for a local business. She has to go to Acapulco's after.
I wonder if she gets those green grapes at Acapulco.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe not.
But yeah, it has to. It's very stressful.
So Stillwater, we should point out, won every swimming event, I believe.
I think you're right. Well, did Alana or is it Elena? I'm sorry, hon. You're a great swimmer, and I'm terrible with pronouncing your name, but she did.
Schmitzer did well, and
yeah.
Here's a look at the leaderboard. Oh, Mounds View had a disqualification. I heard an announcement, and again, they didn't finish in the top 2, so they lose out on a few points. But as far as state is concerned, and you were saying though, throughout the relays, the exchanges can be a tricky point.
That's the only way they disqualified
or start.
Here. Yeah, the exchange or the start. We didn't see any, I'm always kind of, if I can, watching.
Well, Stillwater had pulled away such a big lead.
Yeah, it was hard to see. You're right, we didn't see many of the exchanges other than Stillwater's, but I didn't see a flinch or a false start, so I'm guessing it's an exchange. And And that's a tough way to end your season, depending on who you are. But again, girls, be proud of yourselves. That's a learning experience. So as we're waiting for this to finish up, it's fun to see lots of hugs are happening out there.
Well, they know this is the final event, and they can.
And for many, this is the final meet. Some of our seniors, this is the last time they're swimming for high school. Many will go on to college swimming, and we hope to be able to follow your careers there. But if you're wrapping up, congratulations. And it's been a real treat and honor to watch you for the last 6 years, if that is how long you've been swimming. Jane seems to have lost her gusto in wrangling. I don't know.
Here are your medalists in the 400-yard freestyle relay. In sixth place, the team of Autumn Clem, Emma Hutzinger, Ann Griesbach, and Elizabeth Peabody from North St. Paul with a time of 4:41.65. In fifth place, the team of Ella Fahey, Regan Hillstad, Isabella Stark, and Gabby Fleming with a time of 4:12.07 from Tartan. In fourth place, the team of Lily Jenkins, Casey Brown, Emma Masso, and Lucy Barufka with a time of 4:03.20 from White Bear Lake. In third place, the team of Ingrid Holm, Sophia Seifert, Linnea Brandt, and Greta Wiskas with a time of 3:48.48 from Roseville. And the top two will represent us, Section 4AA at the state meet next week, and they are in second place, the team of Elsa Sorensen-Wagner, Ava Reich, Addison Forsey, and Maya Tellez. And our champion in the 400-yard freestyle relay, the team of Eva Johns, a 12th grader, Maddie Reed, a sophomore, Ellie Kill, a senior, and Sydney Detman, a junior, with a time of 3:33.96. Stillwater.
And there you have it.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the swimmers take this very seriously. The song selections you've enjoyed throughout the broadcast here have been chosen by your Stillwater ponies. It's pretty competitive to get your song in.
And that is a wrap with the Section 4-2A swimming and diving finals. For girls swimming, there's a look at the leaderboard. Stillwater winning the section. Again, that is more for bragging rights than an entry into the state meet. But you're going to see a lot of Stillwater ponies and some Woodbury Royals as well.
Yeah.
They really cleaned up, and Stillwater especially. No matter who you pick, Ava Johns had a sensational performance today. Maddie Reed,
Eva
Detman.
did great, yeah. Maddie Reed as well, yes. Woodbury and Mounds View duked it out. It looks like they flipped second and third there, but they did a very good job. These ponies, though, I think they put an exclamation point on the win today. They did very well, sweeping in many cases.
And before we say goodbye, as you said, for several of these swimmers, this is their last event. of the season for some of their high school career. I know your oldest got to compete in one more, but she'll be there next week. For a bunch of Stillwater swimmers, though, their season is extended for one more week. What are the emotions like for the swimmers that are moving on to the state meet at the U of M, and for those whose seasons are over? How do you encapsulate
There's
this run?
a lot of tears, and I'm fighting back some. And parents, I know you'll understand. These girls have been teammates and sisters for 6 years in many cases, and the thing about swimming and many sports is that you form relationships from older and younger, and so some of the 7th graders are going to be openly weeping behind us, saying goodbye to some of those big sisters, those role models that they've looked up to all season. You're going to see a lot of hugs and a lot of tears, and Stillwater parents at home, I wish we could broadcast for you. And there's a tradition that we have here, the ponies have, that every senior does a crazy dive off the diving board. A lot of belly flops, a lot of back flips. You're going to see that, and the coaches all dive in fully clothed. So there's a lot of traditions that go with the closing of the season. Anybody who didn't qualify to go to state, you're going to be certain that they're there in force and they're cheering for their swim sisters. And it's really fun for us parents to watch those relationships develop, and they last a lifetime. You'll see many alums in the audience tonight. I hugged, I think, 7. So we're really proud to come back and support our ponies, even after we've left.
Well, there will be plenty of ponies next week at the U of M Aquatic Center in the state meet. PrepSpotlight.tv will have coverage of that event, and several swimmers from Woodbury as well. And no matter who you were rooting for, we're glad you could spend part of your afternoon with us as we bid adieu to our fall season. We're back on Tuesday for high school girls hockey, Stillwater Minnetonka, but this is our final fall event, and what a way to wrap up the fall season. It's full speed ahead to the winter sports season now. For Jill Chow and the rest of our Valley Access Channel's crew, I'm Mike Beaton. Thank you for watching the Section 4-2A Girls Swimming and Diving Finals.
The preceding broadcast of the Section 4AA Girls Swim Meet has been supported by Bayport's American Legion, The Lumberjack, Joseph's Restaurant, The Mad Camper, and Pictures Over Stillwater.